Roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Metro has a cancellation of the North Central line. The train scheduled to leave Antioch about 6:08 is not going to operate due to a mechanical failure. Our south side of Chicago, police activity after shooting, 132nd Torrance. Kennedy looks good now. An outbound crash near Addison has cleared. The Edens is fine. So is the Eisenhower. There is an outbound crash at St. Charles that's now, we're told, been cleared out of the way. Mount Stevenson on the ramp to the outbound Rhine crash. The ramp is open at the moment. Bishop Ford inbound at Dalton Avenue. Crash two left lanes. Traffic is heavy approaching the scene. Northbound Tri-State. A crash at Cermak. It's cleared out of the way. Another one now just south of 290. On 8094 eastbound at Stop and Go Torrance to the state line. To a jackknife truck blocking two right lanes. Westbound traffic Stop and Go Broadway to Kennedy. Northbound I-65, it's slow and snowy from Ridge Road to 8094. Traffic, the service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial. Your first one is free. Go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A flurry for the morning, otherwise a frigid day with clouds breaking for some sun, high 20. Partly cloudy and bitterly cold tonight with a low 3. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a little snow in the afternoon with little or no accumulation, high 20 and a low 16. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 16 degrees officially at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan, do you remember taking the bus to school? Do you remember your bus driver's name?
I remember my chauffeur's name.
Oh, we stop it. Well, unlike you, the majority of us took a school bus to school, and we'd have to, get on the bus, and I'll never forget, ours was Helen. Her name was Helen, and she was aggressive, but she had to be, to maintain order on the bus.
Yeah, my chauffeur was too. You remember I was adopted by Mr. Drummond, and we lived on Park Avenue. Oh, wait, that's Gary Coleman.
That's somebody else's story, Dan.
Yeah.
But this story comes out of Arizona. A bus driver, I think the bus driver he had enough. It was very loud on the bus. The kids were misbehaving, so he did something out of the box, so to speak. All right, so in case you didn't understand, he said, see, your parents are getting upset. You break that door, you're going to buy me a new one. Your kids will get off the bus when I'm done with them.
Who's he talking to?
He's talking to the parents who are on the other side of the closed door. There's 40 kids inside this bus. He went to the first stop, and he was going to let some of the kiddies off, and their parents were there waiting, but he wouldn't let them out.
Does he have like a bullhorn on top of the bus, like the Blues Brothers or something?
No,
He's just talking through the door.
No, that is video and audio that was captured from inside the bus.
Right,
Because,
but can the parents hear him?
Oh, yeah, and the
Okay.
parents are like, you got to get my kids out. And no, he didn't let them out. And then not only that, he took off, and the parents called 911.
They've been sitting there for 10 minutes, and he's not letting any of the kids out. The kids are crying. He's actually driving away.
Okay,
With all our kids.
Adam.
I mean, he's got all our kids on the bus.
So the panic ensues. Like, where are you going? I mean, essentially, he's kidnapping the kids. He's so upset by their unruly behavior that he was going to teach them a lesson.
Well, it does take a village to.
Well, so he drove the kids back to Dysart Elementary School, where they came out of school. No kids were injured, but they were traumatized by what he did because he wanted the kids to meet with the principal. Well, he didn't meet with the principal. He was met with police, but they didn't charge him. And the principal defended this guy by saying, you know what, this was not the bus driver's scheduled route, so he didn't really know the kids, and they took advantage, kind of like a substitute teacher.
Yeah,
But-
kind of like the
But
substitute,
the
like
parents
Tom
said
Berenger.
the 2 miles from where the kids were supposed to get off the bus to the back of the school, they thought that this bus driver was going to kill their children.
I had no idea what he was doing. I didn't know if he was, went crazy and was going to go crash into something. Because the way he took off, he was speeding. They're responsible for their lives, all those children on the bus, to get home safely. And he did the exact opposite of that.
Vigilante bus driver.
Well, and he is resigned, by the way, but he hasn't been charged. I think he should be charged with kidnapping. 312-642-5600. Well, he held people against their will.
That's a bit of a reach,
No,
I
it's
think.
not. If you hold somebody against their will, especially children who can't really defend themselves, you've got a problem. I mean, that's a criminal matter, not a school matter anymore.
He should have just thought to himself, what would Otto do in this situation? And he would have made the right choice. Let's go to Tom in Oswego. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, guys. I have a story. Back in the early 80s, I was a bus driver, youngest bus driver this company ever had. And I was driving some local kids home. This is here in the Chicago area. And they started throwing snowballs on the bus. And I told them, I said, next person throws a snowball, I'm turning the bus around, and your parents are going to have to pick you up. These are junior high kids. Well, sure enough, I got hit with a snowball. I turned around, parked the bus in front of the school, got the principal, and I wouldn't let them off the bus. So I wasn't technically, well, I guess I was detaining them. But I wouldn't let them off the bus until their parents, all their parents had to come and pick them up.
Wow. Did anybody call 911 on you?
No, well, you know what? Back then, you had a little more authority as a bus driver.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'd hate to be a bus driver nowadays.
Tom, do you think that you incited the children to throwing those snowballs by saying the next one who throws a snowball will be turned around? That you're actually responsible for that?
No, I didn't incite it. These kids came from a local school that they probably didn't have a lot of parent supervision, and I thought I had pretty good rapport with the kids. But I think it was wintertime, first snowfall. They just got a little rambunctious and a little crazy. And I let them throw the snowballs the first time. And they didn't hit me, but I told them that I would take them back.
Thanks for the call, Tom, and the story. Appreciate it. It's a good one. I think that kids, just to be on the safe side, I think that all grade school children should be strapped into the bus like Hannibal Lecter and wheeled out of the bus.
And give it fava beans.
Then you don't have to worry about those things. Did you ever have a problem where you were detained as a grade school student, as a high school student, as a college student in your adult life?
Yeah, I'm taking the bus in college. I took the CAM bus, but no, when I was a kid,
the booze trolley. I don't know.
When I was a kid, I used to play the French horn. And we called it the portable potty. And you always have to leave your instrument at the front of the bus. And it's not really secured. So anybody played a trombone, you leave it at the front of the bus, then you go sit down. Well, the bus driver took a sharp turn once on Euclid, and out popped my French horn. It busted through the doors, the bus doors, and it landed on the street, and then a car hit it. And that was the end of my musical career. I never played the French horn again.
Well, that is a traumatic story. I mean, it's almost as traumatic as I suspect your playing of the French horn was at the time.
I was third chair, 3 out of 3.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance. Let's go to Matt in Oak Forest. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I think he unnecessarily detained the kids, just from what I heard on what you and Amy just played. He should have released the children to their parents and then spoke with the principal and let the principal handle it with the parents.
Yeah.
I mean,
hang on that door. I probably would have ripped the door off and pulled him out for not releasing my child.
well, they tried
Yeah,
to.
thanks for the call, Matt. I agree with that. That makes sense.
I mean, listen to real quick. It's 10 seconds, but listen to how violent, how scared the kiddies are. Help us.
Your parents are getting upset. You break that door, you're going to be buying a new one. Your kid will get off the bus when I'm done with him.
I think the driver needs to go home and take a nappy noopy.
I think the school district needs to outsource the transportation to Uber.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Well, to say it's a little dicey out there would be an understatement. You need to leave a good hour before you normally do if you want to get to work on time. Flurries did end this morning, but it was snowing throughout the evening, so snowplows are just trying to catch up right now. And plow the side streets and even the highways and the expressways. We're going to have a high today of 20 degrees. Tonight will be frigid, a low of just 5. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy, very cold. A little snow late in the afternoon, a high of 21 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Oh, my gosh, you must be so busy today. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yeah, we thought yesterday was bad. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Yeah, some roads are snow-covered. Some are just a little slushy, and some have now been cleared. And we have some train and plane issues, too. We have some cancellations at O'Hare, about 17. More than that at Midway. We're told about 40. Check before heading there. And we have police activity on the far south side. Reported shooting at 132nd and Torrance. Edens, the Kennedy, speeds are reduced due to the conditions. There are no significant delays, no significant congestion yet. Same goes for the Eisenhower. Mount Stevenson, heavy 355 to Cass where it's snowy. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, about 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 8094 to the merge. There was a crash at Dalton Avenue. Northbound Tri-State, heavy. Roosevelt before the Eisenhower with a crash. 8094 is messy. Westbound, really slow going. Broadway to Kennedy Avenue. Eastbound, Torrance to the state line. Jackknife truck blocking 2 right lanes. Northbound I-65, slow and snowy. Bridge to 8094. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Supporting veterans is our passion. That's why we support Veteran Roasters, a Chicago coffee roaster that hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. If you'd like to help create jobs for homeless veterans, visit veteranroasters.com and purchase a 12-ounce bag of coffee roasted and ground by once homeless and unemployed veterans. The coffee's delicious and the profits are reinvested in hiring additional homeless veterans. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second bag you purchase. If you're a veteran securing a VA loan and would like to work with a local lender who supports veterans, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, said, "The essence of investment management is the management of risk, not returns." Hi, this is Joe Lopresti, president of Arlington Capital Management. I'm here to explain how we help manage our clients' exposure to risk. We're the creators of our proprietary proactive asset allocation strategy, known as PAS. It is designed to analyze important market trends and alert us to potential changes in the market. But that's only part of what I believe makes Arlington Capital Management unique. It's the care and personalized service we provide our clients that really defines us. We understand how important your financial goals are to you and your family, and we never take that responsibility lightly. It all starts by understanding the things that are most important to you. It's part of the Arlington Capital Management difference. To experience it for yourself, schedule your complimentary consultation by calling 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796, or visit arlington-capital.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-471-9807. That's 800-471-9807. 800-471-9807. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with zero or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, in the middle of this focus on the memo, the competing memos, and the competing investigations and immigration, we haven't yet this week done a quick rundown of an update on the most recent casualties of the Me Too movement, starting with Steve Wynn, who last night resigned as CEO and chairman of Wynn Resorts in response to the settlement and other sexual harassment allegations, a settlement from years ago with someone who apparently he was accused of sexually harassing, paid her $7.5 million.
Yeah, it wasn't the manicurist who went up to his pie in the sky there.
And then there was the Wall Street Journal did this expose where they interviewed some 150 employees of Wynn's various properties, and there were other examples of boorish, harassing behavior. Although Wynn said he was defiant when stepping down, saying he's doing so because of an avalanche of negative publicity that had created an environment, quote, in which a rush to judgment takes precedence over everything else, including the facts. So that's not really a mea culpa. That's being forced out and suggesting he was done so unfairly.
Well, Charlotte Aerosmith, I don't know if you've heard of her, but she is one of the accusers of Steve Wynn. And
dream on, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. And she was, CNN, I'm not kidding you, just happened to be at her house interviewing her because they're doing a piece on Steve Wynn. And when she heard that he stepped down as CEO of his own corporation, she got out a champagne glass and filled it up with champagne.
Oh, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Something positive has finally come from this. I know it doesn't hurt him. I know it doesn't hurt Wynn Resorts. He has other licensees. I know all of this, but I'm going to tell you something. After all he put us through, he needs to be humiliated.
So she felt a small victory yesterday.
All right.
So he can pass it off as he wants, but there's a number of women saying that he groped them, would just come up and tap them on the buttocks. Why do I say buttocks? What else?
Know.
I hate
the buttocks. That's why.
Oh, it's from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's why.
I wish I had the buttock.
Wow. Well, so that's one. I mean, don't forget now, ladies. Yeah. Hello.
What?
The CEO of Lululemon
also
had to resign.
Oh, that Jag who
Whoa.
at one point in time said if you have to wear a size 14 pants, you shouldn't be wearing Lululemons. Yeah.
That's the guy.
The guy who said if your thighs touch each other, you really shouldn't be wearing Lululemons.
Yes, him. That guy.
Well, a lot of people's thighs touch and they're triathletes, but okay, go on.
Okay. He
doing thigh testing later on.
The specifics were not disclosed. Just the statement issued say he fell short of the company standards of conduct.
Oh, you think?
Which leaves that open to interpretation. Humane Society CEO, the chief executive of the Humane Society, on Friday resigned after sexual harassment allegations against him prompted an uprising from staff and donors. The executive, Wayne Pacell, the face of the Humane Society for more than a decade, held on to support of the majority of the group's board, which voted to immediately end the investigation, but the uprising from the grassroots, if you will, employees and donors, pushed him out. How about that?
Oh.
And
dogs are barking.
And Uma Thurman spoke to New York Times over the weekend about Harvey Weinstein and Quentin Tarantino.
Read the whole article.
Pretty compelling stuff. And yesterday it was unearthed, it was circulating, a 2013 interview that Quentin Tarantino gave Howard Stern. Listen to this. This is about his defense of Roman Polanski.
How come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who raped a 13-year-old?
He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's not quite the same thing. All right?
Come on. Enough said.
it's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not rape. To me, when you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, he was guilty of having sex with a minor. All right,
that she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13
and found out. Well, by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything. All right.
Wait a second.
Morals in Europe,
sex
morals in China.
With a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man. You know that that's wrong because she has
giving her booze and pills.
I'm not. Look, she was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
She wanted it.
She was down with it?
The 13-year-old girl, she wanted it. Gosh, where does all of what we've seen come out of Hollywood come from, I wonder? It's a real mystery, isn't it? And remember when we talk about how the next barrier to break through for these barbarians is normalizing pedophilia? And you think that's just a vast right-wing conspiracy? That's just right-wing crazy talk, is it? Is it? Quentin Tarantino, in his own words.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll hear Carter Page in his own words in an interview yesterday on Good Morning America. George Stephanopoulos has give us a sense of the nature of your communications with Trump. Wait till you hear his answer at 5:38.
And there's a solution for hair loss, and it's pretty tasty. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
18 degrees this morning, snow showers. An Associated Press investigation has found that Russian cyber spies pursuing sensitive U.S. defense technology tricked key contract workers into exposing their email to theft. The hackers went after at least 87 working on militarized drones, missiles, rockets, stealth fighters, cloud computing platforms, or other sensitive areas. The confirmed death toll is now at 6 after a strong earthquake that hit Taiwan's east coast. The National Fire Agency there says in addition to the 6 deaths, 256 were hurt severely, 88 remain unaccounted for. Another short-term spending bill the House passed is going before the U.S. Senate. The House bill would fund all government operations for 6 weeks and provide military funding for a year. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says Republicans would emerge from any possible government shutdown victorious.
It's a fight we won last time, and it's one we're very confident that we would win again.
White House Chief of Staff John Kelly taking a bit of heat for saying some illegal immigrants were too afraid or lazy to sign up for DACA. He reiterated that sentiment when confronted by reporters yesterday.
For 1.8 million people who are now considered kind of DACA, I got to say that some of them just should have probably gotten off the couch and signed up.
The comment comes as Congress works to come up with a permanent solution, a DACA fix. More snow blowing through the Chicago area overnight, prompting airlines to cancel flights at the city's 2 airports. Another West Suburban school is closed because of a flu outbreak. Holy Angel School in Aurora canceling classes for the rest of the week. A plan to raise Illinois' smoking age to 21 is moving forward at the Illinois Capitol. Critics, including many of Illinois' business groups, are worried about a $200 fine included in that plan. And here's a story you probably thought you'd never hear on the radio. It's apparently too cold for the Winter Olympics. Many athletes and officials are waking up this morning to -3 temperatures at the Pyongyang Olympic Stadium. Sidewalks are snow-covered. Mounds of ice are everywhere. The sparsely populated Olympic Village has athletes and officials, media, clustered in warm buildings and not outside. But you can't stay outside forever because the entire Pyongyang Games opening ceremony is outside at Olympic Stadium. 14 degrees with a wind chill of 17 below expected for the opening ceremony Friday night. There's concern about the well-being of athletes. In fact, Japan pulled athletes from team welcome ceremonies. The Americans will be wearing battery-powered heated jackets, something that's canceling off a little bit of concerns about the ill effects of standing out Friday night in the cold in South Korea. Michael Stone with the go-ahead goal. Flames outlast the Blackhawks 3-2. Bulls have another day to reset before starting a stretch of 5 home games. They'll first take on Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. Last night in the Big Ten, Northwestern bounced Michigan 61-52. In the MAC, our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Toledo 82-77. The news, a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. 5:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the State of the Union.
Real simple takeaway. If you weren't impressed by the president's speech, not just the delivery, but the message, what was contained, the spirit of the message, the direction of the country, the State of the Union, if you weren't impressed, then it's real simple. Your lack of objectivity blinds you from the truth.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place February 10th through the 19th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the official Auto Show app.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Dennis Prager here. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants, get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Well, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants, and that's why you need to see Dr. Naruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Naruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants bring. Everyone is different. Don't settle for mass-produced implants. Did you know that there is a difference in quality of the actual implant itself? Some are made to last, and some aren't.
This is Dr. Naruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics 630-632-7400 or just remember implantsforme.com.
5:37 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Allow extra time in following distance this morning. Allow extra time on the rails, too. Metro has a cancellation of the North Central line. The train scheduled to leave Antioch at 6:08 has been canceled. There are some flight cancellations as well. More at Midway than O'Hare. The Edens, the Kennedy, speeds are reduced, but no big jams yet. About Eisenhower. Slow, Manheim to First Avenue, 35 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 30 at Stevenson, already 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive at 30 from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 to 355. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopford, 30. Bishopford is snow covered. There's a crash outbound at 159th. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go from Roosevelt to the Eisenhower with a crash. I-80 got crashes westbound east at 355 and delays Briggs to Richards with a collision. Westbound 8094 is jammed from Broadway to past the state line with a collision. Traffic service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Look now at lq.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Flurries this early morning, otherwise frigid through the day. Clouds will break by the afternoon. We should see a high near 20, partly cloudy and frigid, low of 5 overnight. 14 at O'Hare, 18 along the lakefront. It is 12 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. President Trump said, let's go ahead and shut the government down if we can't secure the border. It makes sense to me. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A little review of two very spirited gubernatorial primaries going on. Yesterday, Spalding enlisted his preferred choice for that vacant Barack Obama Senate seat back a decade ago.
Yeah.
Jesse White did a press conference to respond to what was heard on those FBI wiretap conversations between Blagojevich and Pritzker. Jesse White, who had previously endorsed Spalding, stuck with him.
Oh, he was in favor? I mean, well, he was
Well,
trying to get
that's
him.
why they did the joint
right,
press
that's why they
conference.
did a joint press conference. But he took the heat from other Democratic politicians, such as Ninth Ward Alderman Anthony Beale. He said, this is a slap in our face, taking our community for granted, playing our community against each other. This is
Yeah.
not the kind of leadership we need at this time. Another person, actually, Bishop Larry Trotter, I'm sure you're familiar with him.
Yes.
He disinvited Pritzker to speak at the Sweet Holy Spirit Church.
Mm-hmm.
And one politician said, I can't believe that this is happening during Black History Month. This happened long before Black History Month. I mean, the recordings were made, but they were just happened to be released yesterday during Black History Month.
Yeah, but
So nothing seemed to stick yesterday.
It's the whole kind of pro forma. I'm being prompted to be morally indignant, so I'm going to be morally indignant. But for example, Roderick Sawyer, I continue to believe JB is the best position to beat Bruce Rauner in November. Well, that's assuming things not in evidence. And I will maintain my support for his candidacy. Obviously, his running mate, Representative Stratton, said this, basically rallied to his defense too.
Well-
For the most part, JB supporters yesterday or prior to the release of those recordings are still JB supporters today, and he offered the demanded mea culpas, and I doubt this has much lasting power.
But did he apologize? Because his challenger, Daniel Biss, wanted him to apologize.
Yeah, he did.
He did apologize.
Yeah,
Okay, but
so
what's your
the mea
favorite part of the
culpas.
tapes? Because this is my favorite one. I love this one.
Hey, how about this one? God, if I knew for sure I wasn't running again. Yeah. How about Reverend Wright? Oh, my God. Yeah. No, how about setting Reverend Wright there? I bet you he'd take it. Hilarious. Huh? Would that be funny? Hilarious. Oh, yeah. Right there on the Senate floor. It's not God bless America. It's God America. When Barack was at Sunday school, I used to tell him. I love it. That's funny.
So that's J.B. Pritzker on that side of the aisle. On the other side, the Republican primary for governor.
You mean the right side?
Well.
Oh, no.
Ignore the ability to ignore Jeannie Ives apparently is by the boards, because Bruce Rauner released a hit ad on Jeannie Ives yesterday. He wanted to ignore her, wanted to pretend she didn't exist. Amid all of the hysteria from the usual corners, Rauner's paid mouthpieces, and the others that are cowered by the shame mob every time, which is why the left plays it so much of the time, because it sends so many Republicans running for the hills, as well as, of course, in terms of the hysteria from the left. Well, Bruce Rauner did some polling, and he apparently felt that needed to acknowledge Jeannie Ives' existence and take her down a few notches, or attempt to. Didn't want to. Interesting too. Didn't want to tackle the topics in the provocative ad. No, he didn't want to tackle those. He just wants to do what Rauner does with anybody who he needs to defeat. He just says everybody who disagrees with me on anything is a agent of Mike Madigan. That's the only thing the Rauner Republican Party can say. The only thing the Rauner Republican Party has to offer is Mike Madigan's favorite Republican. They're doing it in legislative races and primaries where their incumbent hacks, including tax increase voters, are facing primary challenges. So do you understand the duplicitousness of this? Do you understand that this is the preternatural liar that Bruce Rauner and the Rauner Republican Party is? Incumbent Republican legislators who voted for Madigan's tax increase are allegedly running against Madigan's favorite Republicans who aren't in office. How silly this is, how dishonest. And so Jeannie Ives, who is a conservative state legislator for 5 years. No, she's not. She's Madigan's favorite Republican.
Oh, no, he did not.
Jeannie Ives took thousands from a shady labor union tied to Mike Madigan. She voted against increasing your property tax exemption. Now she's criticizing Bruce Rauner for calling Mike Madigan a crook, brags about Madigan voting for her bills, and complains Rauner is, quote, picking on Madigan. Let's recap. Jeannie Ives was for higher taxes, took shady money from Madigan's cronies, and now defends and defers to Madigan. Jeannie Ives might just be Mike Madigan's favorite Republican and Illinois' worst nightmare.
I mean, that is fantastically false.
Oh, it is.
But you know what, though, Dan?
great.
I
I
think
love
that's a
it.
good sign for her campaign that she got underneath Governor Rauner's skin enough for him to put out an attack ad against her. But it's all lie. Every ad I see is tied to Mike Madigan. I mean, Mike Madigan might want his image back because he's all over the airways.
Well, and the other thing is the
Is there any truth to that? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean
the Republican Party may want to learn from the last 3 decades where Madigan's been the speaker, with the exception of the 2-year interregnum during the Gingrich Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That just saying you're not Mike Madigan is not the path to being the majority party in Illinois. Has anybody picked up on that? I mean, I know it's only been 3 decades. Has anybody picked up on being self-accountable? That's sort of important. Having a prospective policy agenda that addresses people's real economic security concerns and also doesn't defends their cultural values. Has anybody picked up on the importance of those matters and contemplating how those matters should be addressed? No, but when obviously you have Benedict Rauners and you have enemies inside the perimeter who do the left's bidding for the left within the Republican Party, destroy the Republican Party from within. Yeah, well, you don't address those issues. You just say everybody is the same as my rival. I have to create a boogeyman because I can't defend my record, and I have to tie everybody to this boogeyman, no matter how illegitimate it is. People actually voted for Mike Madigan's tax increases. They're not the Madigan surrender Republicans. The people challenging them from the economic liberty perspective are the Madigan Republicans. Rauner Republican Party or Conservative Reform Republican Party? Your choice. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And the good news is, there's a lot of legislators, Republican legislators who are willing to speak out on this. Peter Breen, who's called Rauner's promises just flat out lies. He's the House Republican floor leader. Dave McSweeney, Rauner has been completely ineffective other than TV ads and press releases he hides behind in attempting to actually pass something. He could be the most ineffective politician in the country, the Republican state legislator.
Yeah, I read about that in National Review.
Yeah. I mean, it's remarkable, isn't it?
It was an easy read, yes.
So that's the Rauner response. So it's game on, and the lies will continue because that's just what Rauner does. Got it. Built into the price.
That is, I almost want to hear it again. It's so crazy. I read the hyperbole and then the music. Like there's a shark behind you and it's going to bite your head off.
In a world gone mad.
Shut up, Madigan. Oh, you just put up an ad, just say Madigan. Then you know what Jeannie Ives should do? The people whose loved ones have been killed by people who are here illegally should sit down and talk to her and then make that into a 1-minute spot because nothing will hit home more than that. And throw in the Colts linebacker who was killed too, just certain images, Kate Steinle. And, because that's the new world that we're going to live in because of Governor Rauner.
You trying to flack for political consulting business or what?
No, I just want breakfast.
Well,
how about you take my idea and then you buy us all breakfast?
Breakfast in exchange for
but I was thinking about
ideas.
that.
Right.
The guy, and I'm so sorry I forgot his name. His brother was killed by a
Brian
driver,
McCann. Denny McCann was killed.
And he's been on this program, so get Denny McCann and, tell that story because that's real. And that's what we're living with every day.
Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. The thing I have found with Illinois residents, and I've lived here my whole life, is they don't want to talk about the truth. When you bring up taxes, when you bring up the politicians, when you bring up the corruption, you get the hand. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. And so they continue to just pony up the bar, pay whatever it is, and wear blinders over their eyes. I find this with most of the people I speak with, maybe 1%.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
Change something.
I don't know about 1%. I think the number's a little bit higher than that. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of people who were willing to face the truth. They live in other states now. So
that's the problem.
Yeah,
exactly. It is voted against this are gone.
Exactly. No, I hear you, Dan.
Up.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Dan.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. 3 seconds a day, that's all it takes to finally surpass your weight loss goals. With Calitrin, it's seriously so easy.
My name is Melissa. I've been taking Calitrin and I've lost 22 pounds. This is Dixie from Bell Fountain, Ohio. I ended up losing 28 pounds and about 6 inches.
Hi, this is Susan. I take Calitrin. I've lost about 60 pounds.
Hi, I'm Alex Trevino from Austin, and I've been on Calitrin now for a little while and lost 40 pounds. Went from a size 51 waist to a size 42 and never felt better in my life. It's the best thing that I've ever taken. I've tried it this market, and nothing has beat or compared to this at all. I would highly recommend it.
If you're ready to have your own success story, you can join the hundreds of thousands who have lost weight with the #1 healthy choice for weight loss. Just go to toploss.com to check out Calitrin for yourself or call 1-800-325-4366. Again, that's toploss.com.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
No, Mr. Obama, we can't. That was the 2013 PolitiFact lie of the year. In 2017, Blue Cross canceled 97% of their policies. Because your 2017 Blue Cross policy was canceled, you're still eligible to purchase a new plan under special enrollment until March 1st, even though Obamacare open enrollment has ended. And depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. Better yet, the Obamacare mandate will be repealed thanks to President Trump. So you'll no longer be fined by the IRS for purchasing lower-priced, short-term plans. There's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551. 1551.
Spark ideas for spring home improvement at the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Explore the latest in kitchens, baths, basements, additions, renovations, and landscaping. Discover displays from 300 award-winning contractors, talented designers, and creative craftsmen. You can also meet experts on roofing, waterproofing, window treatments, patios, pergolas, painting, tile, custom closets, windows, doors, flooring, and more at the Old House New House Home Show. Enjoy inspiring workshops on kitchen design, decorating trends, beautiful bathrooms, and landscaping design. Plus, meet Mr. Fix-It, Lou Manfredini, on Saturday morning. Adult admission is $7, seniors just $4, and parking is free. A portion of ticket proceeds benefits Habitat for Humanity of Northern Fox Valley. Update, renovate, and revitalize your home with the Old House New House Home Show, February 9th through 11th at Pheasant Run Resort, St. Charles. For tickets and more information, visit KennedyProductions.com.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:57 and a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Speeds are reduced across the board. It's especially snowy to the south. I-80 westbound. It's heavy. Breaks to Richards with a crash. 80-94 westbound delays. Broadway to past the state line after a crash. And eastbound it's slow. Broadway to I-65 and Ripley to the Indiana Toll Road. Northbound I-65 has delays. US 30, 61st Avenue and Ridge to 80-94. It's very snowy there. Eden, speeds are reduced, but we see no significant congestion yet. Kennedy, travel time 30 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown outbound 25. Take the numbers with a grain of salt on a day like today. Again, it's slower than usual everywhere. The Eisenhower up to 42 minutes now, 390 to downtown, outbound 36. Stevenson, bound delays start at Weber, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishopwood, 32 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State and eastbound Adams Tollway have some delays. Traffic service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Just go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A frigid day with some breaks of sun, high 20, partly cloudy night, low 3, wind chill values of 0 to 10 below 0 throughout the night and into the morning tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a little snow in the afternoon, high tomorrow 20, 2 to 4 inches of snow at night, low 16. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 14 at O'Hare, 18 along Chicago's lakefront. The news is a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560 The Answer. More snow blowing through the Chicago area, prompting slowdowns on the roads and cancellations at the airports. Another West Suburban school is closed because of a flu outbreak. Holy Angels Catholic School in Aurora. There are delays and cancellations for local schools because of the snow this morning. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Chicago police are investigating the death of Temptation singer Dennis Edwards. The latest tax proposal at the Illinois Capitol would get the state in line with the new federal tax code, and a trial is underway for a Cook County judge charged with mortgage fraud. Flames outlast the Blackhawks 3-2 at the UC. WIND's Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
The clock is ticking for Congress again.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The House has approved more short-term spending before government funding runs out tomorrow, but President Trump says if immigration problems aren't resolved soon...
If we don't change it, let's have a shutdown. We'll do a shutdown, and it's worth it for our country.
But lawmakers are worried about funding. First, Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, lawmakers on the Hill sounding optimistic as the Senate gets ready to take up a stopgap measure that funds the military through September and keeps other government services going for another 6 weeks. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
We had one Trump shutdown. Nobody wants another, maybe except him.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the first priority is keeping the government open.
We'll then go forward with an immigration debate.
Lawmakers are also considering a long-term deal that would set spending levels for 2 years. Dave.
Now, Rachel, the White House continues to review the Democratic rebuttal to the Republican memo alleging the FBI used an anti-Trump dossier to spy on an ex-Trump campaign official in 2016.
The Democrats are politically smart enough to put things in the memo that require either the Bureau or the Department of Justice to say it needs to be redacted.
Therefore, Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy says if portions are blocked, Democrats can claim something's being hidden. They say the GOP memo omitted key information, therefore was misleading. Vice President Pence is in Japan, saying the U.S. is preparing the harshest sanctions yet on North Korea.
Let the world know this. We will continue to intensify our maximum pressure campaign until North Korea takes concrete steps toward complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization.
The vice president will soon head to South Korea next for the Olympics that start Friday. North Korea is participating. The leader Kim Jong-un is sending his sister to represent the country. In Kentucky, Marshall County High School now has metal detectors weeks after 2 students were killed when a classmate opened fire. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In just 1 year, the president has accomplished so much.
We have created 2.4 million new jobs. Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. We enacted the biggest tax cuts and reforms in American history.
Working toward one common goal.
To make America great again for all Americans.
What will the next 3 years look like? Follow the journey right here. AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump has his foot on the collective neck of congressional Democrats, and he pressed down yesterday per a DACA deal with the need for another continuing resolution to, quote-unquote, keep the government running. We know that this is government shutdown theater and it's silliness and it's not a real shutdown and all those things. But here's what he had to say about a shutdown if Dems don't want to deal on DACA.
If we don't change the legislation, if we don't get rid of these loopholes where killers are allowed to come into our country and continue to kill gang members, and we're just talking about MS-13, there are many gang members that we don't even mention. If we don't change it, let's have a shutdown. We'll do a shutdown, and it's worth it for our country. I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. You agree with President Trump. Put it right to him. I made a proposal. You've not shown any interest in discussing it. You've just declared a DOA. I restated that proposal in the State of the Union address. If you don't want to deal on it, and you want to filibuster the continued funding of the government over this matter until I bend to your will, well, then we'll have a shutdown. Well, how about it?
And the shutdown would take place at midnight tomorrow, correct? So are they working on a short-term funding agreement, or do we want a long-term? And is DACA included in this? Because DACA expires March 5th, which is right around the corner. So some politician has to do something.
Well,
and John Kelly yesterday.
And by the way, some politician has done something. President Trump has put forward a proposal that meets the Democrats more than halfway on DACA. Per his seeing your 800,000 and raising you $1 million, I'll include a path to citizenship option for all those individuals who were eligible for DACA but did not avail themselves of that designation.
Okay, and then John Kelly, who his language his rhetoric's normally tame, but it was not yesterday.
There are 690,000 official DACA registrants, and the president sent over what amounts to be 2.5 times that number to 1.8 million. The difference between 690 and 1.8 million were the people that some would say were too afraid to sign up, others would say were too lazy to get off their asses, but they didn't sign up.
It's interesting when the button-down chief of staff is arguably more rhetorically pointed than his boss. I mean, that's a pretty high hurdle to clear.
So he claims that undocumented immigrants who didn't sign up for DACA were too afraid or too lazy.
Well,
is there any truth to that?
Well, he didn't say that. He said some say that.
Some say that. Oh.
The old some say.
Okay.
I'm not saying it. Some people I've heard say that. Well, I mean, I don't know. What are the other possible explanations between being afraid? Oh, okay.
I understand being afraid.
Or just saying, I don't need to.
But sometimes there's a language barrier, so they don't know that it's there. It's one argument that I heard.
So despite all of the attention that's given, including in Spanish language media, by the way, this is an issue they cover a lot.
It's a money issue because it's $500 to sign up for DACA. DACA. It's expensive. Some people don't have $500.
Okay. All right.
I'm just
some
laying out
people.
what the left's argument is.
So okay. I mean, I understand the reaction to Kelly's statement, but at the end of the day, the point is that there's a path to citizenship being offered that's on the table for all of those individuals with that designation or who are eligible for that designation who have otherwise been law-abiding.
And in return, President Trump wants $25 billion in border security.
Well, he wants more than that. He also wants an end to chain migration, and he wants an end to the diversity visa lottery. He wants to go to merit-based, and that's precisely what he should be demanding. And so the question for all of those who are solely concerned about the dreamers who are here illegally and not the dreamers who are here legally, for that group of people. So you know what I'm talking about. The D.C. Press Corps, the Democrat Party, that's what I'm talking about. The Champagne Socialists, those people who are only concerned about dreamers here illegally, not the dreamers here legally. Do you want all of those people? Would you tell all of those people, 1.8 million people? Sorry, we need you as a political chit. So your path to citizenship may have to go by the boards because we don't want to deal with the president on rethinking and reforming and restructuring our immigration legal regime and doing a better job of controlling our southern border. Sorry. I know you wanted to be a citizen. I know that's what we said we were going to provide. We were the great vanguard that was fighting your battle so that you could have permanent status to be here legally. You wouldn't have to, live in the shadows and all of the other hysterics that are offered by the left. Yeah, but I'm sorry, we're going to have to pull that away because all you really are to us is mascots for political power.
Well, some immigration hardliners, Trump fans, are not even happy that he's extending
Correct.
amnesty to 1.8 million people.
Correct. They wouldn't. There's some that don't want him to.
They want to kick them all out of the country.
Well,
and
they
have
don't
a-
want to provide a passive citizenship for the 800,000 that are actual DACA designees. Right. So this is the point. Well, that's exactly what I mean when I say Trump has met the Democrats more than halfway. So he's got them cornered. If he gets a deal done, he's the pragmatic businessman who got a deal done across the range of issues that are all 70% plus positive issues
Right.
with the general electorate, right? Every single one of them. And if he doesn't get a deal, then it was Democrats who were iconoclastic and intransigent and walked away from the table with respect to a reasonable deal put forward by this guy who seems to be a pragmatic businessman. It's the Democrats' antics on tax cuts, on DACA, that have resulted in the congressional generic ballot narrowing to only +2 Democrats now. So for all of those that were predicting, and that we got a long way to go, so this could still come to pass. But today, the bloodbath that was a fait accompli in November for Republicans doesn't look like it's so written in the stars at this point. Very interesting.
312-642-5600 is our Turnkey Pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Do you think President Trump should extend the March 5th deadline?
No. The only way you get action is people need to work to a deadline. Otherwise, this is just interminable.
And what is Chuck Schumer's point of contention again? What does he want?
Nobody knows what he wants.
That's the thing.
But I don't know what the Democrats
Why
want.
are they sitting on their hands still?
Yeah.
Treasonous.
Also, during a Customs and Border Protection roundtable in Sterling, Virginia, this is an interesting discussion. So President Trump was there along with Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen and U.S. Customs and Border Protection Acting Commissioner Kevin McAleenan. And they talked about a number of issues, some rather jarring stuff. Listen to the Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Kevin McAleenan talking about some of the challenges that border security faces, and from an operational perspective, the need for resources on the southern border.
We've seen a marked increase in hardened smugglers attempting to bring hard narcotics across our borders and into our communities. We've had increases, as you can see here, in every category: cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine significantly, and obviously fentanyl, a very significantly potent synthetic opioid that's involved in so many overdoses in the United States. The last number I'd like to show you, sir, is we've had a 45% increase in assaults on the men and women protecting our border, the law enforcement personnel risking themselves every day to protect their citizens.
How come?
Well, we think there's two reasons. One, we've got these increase in narcotics. We've gotten more effective at securing our border. And so we're dealing with a more determined, a more sophisticated, and a more dangerous population with these smugglers crossing, at the same time as we're seeing this increased flow of families and unaccompanied children. So we really believe these dual trends require investments both in smart border security, like a border wall system, but also closing the legal loopholes that we face in our immigration.
It's a pretty strong substantive argument the commissioner makes, isn't it? Adding to that was Homeland Security Secretary Nielsen, who has said, we have about 70 terrorists a day that we see trying to get here through some method of transportation. That's 500 a week, 2,000 a year. So needless to say, these men and women are very busy every day washing not just cargo, but passengers and other sorts of traffic, talking about the Customs and Border Patrol agents who are under increased threat, per the commissioner, of violence. This is serious business. Serious business. And doesn't seem like Democrats want to take this seriously. They just want to play politics with it. Some Republicans, too. But you haven't heard much about the interests of those who actually do the job on the border, who do the job trying to keep terrorists out of here, who do the job trying to stop the drug cartels from penetrating our country. I mean, an impossible job in many respects, but nevertheless, they attempt to do it every day. So again, who's on the side of right and law and order and public safety, and who isn't? Because ultimately, isn't that the big question? 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. Kurt in Chicago. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So, hey, listen, I have a question on this. The Democrats are all for bringing all these immigrants over and legalizing everybody. Okay, but at the same time, they also support prevailing wage. Okay, prevailing wage keeps the unions keeping our skilled workers working. Okay, and then at the same time, prevents a company coming in from a non-union area taking a job and paying would-be unskilled workers or possibly immigrant workers less money to bid a job lower. How can you be split on the same? It's really the same situation. They're trying to prevent the same people from working, but we want them to become voters.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kurt. Lewis in Texas.
Good morning, Dan Name. How are you doing this morning?
Morning.
I agree with Trump's proposal to shut down the government, and the reason being for me is I see that he's put forward, as you stated, Dan, a more than generous offer to them. Earlier, during last month, they shut down the government because they felt that he wasn't doing enough. So he said, okay, I'm going to meet you more than halfway. He's met them more than halfway, and they still refuse to try to make a deal. And the reason for me, I see them doing that is that you kind of stated to it earlier. If he makes a deal with them, one, they don't want President Trump. They hate him so much. They don't want him to do anything. They don't want him to look good in any way. But also, too, they lose a lot of power and the political chip that they're using, which are these immigrants. And I think they'll lose a lot of votes. As far as Amy's comment earlier about not having the money, I understand, a lot of these people are scared. But, they do have the money. It's kind of stereotypical for me to say, but a lot of them do live together. A lot of them, live in one house, and the money's there. I've dated people. My ex-wife, her family kind of did that, and some of them were illegal, and they all live. They have the money to do it. It's just, like Kelly said, they're just lazy. They don't want to do it. They don't want to spend the money.
And some
they
people
get free rides from all this.
Yeah, some people don't sign up because they don't want the government to know where they are.
Well, that's
they don't
the
want to
fear
give them that
factor.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't want to pay, but but I think as we all talk about it, that's part of the issue too. It's the payment. They enjoy the luxuries and they get some of the welfare for being all this stuff, and that's fine. If you need the help, that's fine. But that money's got to come out of somewhere, and it's unfortunate that American taxpayers are paying for it. It'd be fine if they put into it a little. I wouldn't have an issue. People need to understand it's not about race. It's not about nothing. It's about contributing your part to your state and your country.
Thanks for the call, Lewis. Appreciate that.
More Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Dan Proft's parenting tips. Oh, could it be? But first, here's your forecast. And please allow yourself some extra time. I know people say that, but trust me, we experienced it this morning. It is nasty out there.
It would have been better had I hooked a sled up to hike and had him drag me to work.
Flurries ending finally, but it snowed all throughout the evening, and the roads are slick. It's going to be frigid today. Clouds breaking for some sun later this afternoon, a high of 20 degrees. Tonight, a low of 5. And Thursday, mostly cloudy, very cold. A little snow late in the afternoon, a high of 21. And then we're just going to get hammered here on Friday and Saturday with snow anywhere from a half foot to 8 inches. So prepare yourself for the next round. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How many spin-outs are on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Way too many to count, Amy and Dan. The sleds might be a good idea. It's even worse the farther out from the city you get. In fact, on the eastbound I-90, the Adams Tollway, it's slow and snowy from the Boone, McHenry County line to 20 in Hampshire, and then slow 31 to 59, and then closer to Chicago from Lee to the Kennedy. Westbound traffic is slow and snowy, 31 to the Elgin Toll. Reagan Tollway, we see slow traffic, and again because of the snow, Farnsworth to 59. Southbound Tri-State, really heavy, 137 at Deerfield Road. The snow is covering the road. It's slippery. Northbound delays, 95th to the Mile Long Bridge, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. See delays on westbound I-80, Briggs to Richards, 80-94, especially heavy westbound Broadway to the state line. Travel times, take them with a grain of salt. It's 21 minutes, pun intended. 21 minutes like Cook to Montrose. On the Aidens Kennedy, 40 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown, Napa 33. The Ike, 46 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com. It's our digital platform that provides premium content to enhance what we do here each morning. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series with opinion leaders and policymakers. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from me. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at the Illinois Opportunity Project. Podcast, our Illinois Rising program, covering state policy and politics that airs Sundays at 3 p.m. on these airwaves. Our Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments, and Heart of the Matter, which is our series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day and the impact of public policy choices on families and household budgets. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Defendhomeowners.com. Get a free property tax report on your home so that you have a better understanding of how the highest property taxes in the nation are impacting your home equity and home value. All of the property tax info, defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's time for Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa, Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa, tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
You're a child. Well, I mean, I am kind of the Dr. Spock of my generation, except I'm not a fraud. That's
right.
the difference between the two of us.
So it's Dan Proft's parenting tips time.
So give me the fact pattern, and I'll tell you what to do.
You have so many children. All right, so Peyton and Eli, little rocky weekend at the homestead. They play a lot of Xbox lately. Because
Too much. Or there's the first red flag right there.
Okay,
Too much Xbox. Let's
no, that's true.
Let's pull back on the Xbox playing time.
Okay, and because it gets him a little aggressive. And Russell was Eli was making fun of Peyton in front of the TV, and Peyton didn't like it, so Peyton took the remote control and hit Eli on the hand. Well, Eli has got a hot head. He's really got a temper on him. And he proceeded
there's a lot of red flags here.
to punch
the violence, the
Peyton
temper.
In the head right here on the side of the head.
Yeah, like that.
About a dozen times. Well, maybe he said it was 6 times. I thought it was 12 times.
What were you as a spectator watching it, or did you intervene?
No, I had to get him off of him. No, I intervened.
Oh.
It was just, what are you doing? So everyone's
I'm hitting my brother.
crying.
Isn't it obvious what I'm doing? I'm hitting my brother with a remote control. But now just to set the stage, because I know this because I've met Peyton and Eli, your young men. Now, Eli is about 1/4 of the size of Peyton.
Correct.
Right. So, I mean, when
He
we
weighs
talk about
80
this,
pounds wet.
right, we talk about this hitting, Peyton was probably standing there saying, like, what are you doing?
You're like, can you get off my head?
Just stop
What-
doing this.
Well, Eli broke his hand.
Oh.
So I had to take him to Rush Hospital where they took an x-ray, and it's a boxer's injury. It's the 5th metatarsal where it meets the 4th. It's common in boxers. Because the doctor said, if you hit a wall, the wall's going to win. If you hit your brother's skull's going to win. So which bothers me is because he's out for basketball for the rest of the season. And one of my great pleasures in life, I know I'm being selfish, was watching those two play together on the court. So I let them both
they were
know.
on the same team.
Yeah, and that's never going to happen again. Never. They're not going to go to the same high school, I'm sure, and they're both not going to make high school basketball.
Well, I mean,
the chances are.
It's really
Well, you have no idea.
wet blanket on the kids' dreams there.
At Lane Tech, they had 117 kids try out for the freshman team. I mean, if
Mhm.
you go to a large high school, the chances that you're going to make any team is slim to none. Only the best of
And
the best.
Slim left town.
So my question for you, since you've been there, you have a lot of children, what should the punishment be? Because I know that Eli, and he's lying at school. He's telling people that he fell. Because parents get back to me and tell me all the time, oh, he's not telling that story. He's telling people that he fell. Oh, really? Okay, he didn't fall.
First, be honest about it.
Yeah, honest, yeah.
You
First be
gotta
honest.
own it.
Gotta own it.
That's number one.
But the punishment.
Well, first of all, this isn't. See, this is why I occupy the space I do here. You're looking at just the addressing the result. We've got to go cause. All right. We've got to have a deeper conversation about the temper.
Yeah, he's
about
a hot-headed Swede.
About resorting to violence.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't address the symptoms; you address the illness here, and so we're going to have to sit down and talk through that. And it's going to be a combination of. I mean, I'm not Adrian Peterson over here.
Yeah.
It's a combination.
Get your switch.
No. It's a combination of walking him through the inappropriateness of his reactions to certain things, and then how those reactions manifest themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is very,
and what's going to happen?
Very deep.
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen then too is we're going to give you a little reading list.
Oh, see.
And we're going to mandate. I mean, I want you to have fun as a kid and go out and play and spend time with your friends and all that, play sports and so forth. But we're going to have a reading list, and we're going to have him work through several books.
A few novels. Yeah.
And write reports on that. We're going to talk about.
We're like a book club.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I did immediately take away the Xbox, and it is in an undisclosed location, so nobody knows where it is. And Eli has to go to every basketball practice and every game so he can sit there and watch the sport that he can't play because he couldn't control his temper.
And then the other thing that we're going to do is we'll take Eli over to the gym, boxing gym.
Oh.
And put the gloves on.
He's in a cast right now, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's out of his cast.
No, fighters fight with broken
bones,
broken hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just happens.
But the good news is we have the best doctor, Dr. Fernandez over there at Rush, who happens to be the Bulls team physician.
Oh yeah.
All he does is hands. He's one of the best hand surgeons.
Did a great
in the
job
city.
with Derrick Rose.
Oh well. Okay. Did he have a hand injury? No,
No.
he had a knee injury.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to he put the cast on. He said, all right, fine. If he's a great basketball player, you need him back on the court, especially for playoffs. I'll take the cast off.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. This season is over.
It might not be.
No. It's over for him. Prop parenting tape. And here's the other thing. So what we're going to do, go to the boxing gym.
Yeah.
We're going to have him spar a few rounds with professional fighters in Peyton's weight class and see how he likes that. And then we're going to take him down to his weight class to teach him if you want to fight, you do it in a sporting environment and you do it at your weight class.
Oh.
How about that?
So you're saying I shouldn't take the cast off at 2 weeks?
So we got...
Because he's going to do an x-ray, and then he said, then I'll put a soft cast on him, and then he can take it off to play and put it back on when he's done playing.
In summary, Props parenting tip here is cause, deal with the cause. We're going to deal with the cause through discussion and intellectual pursuits. The basketball season's over.
All right.
Xbox is over with the basketball season.
Yep.
We're going to the gym. We're going to watch him get pummeled by a professional fighter for a couple rounds. Then we're going to take him down and show him about being responsible with his physical expressions and doing it in a sporting context with people in his weight class.
This is why you get paid the big bucks.
Thank you very much. Scott on the West Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy, thanks for taking my call. Well, I've been meaning to call for a long time, and all my answers for Amy come down to the same thing. What I recommend is that she takes her children to the same veterinarian that she took her cat to. Perhaps he has some help for her.
Oh, thank you, Scott. That's more drastic, but it's another route to go. So there are options.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a very special guest.
Yes, who feels more compelled to rehabilitate their image? Which politician after their 2016 performance, Hillary Clinton or Jim Comey? We'll ask former Attorney General Alberto Gonzalez at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Snow and 14 degrees, a half dozen dead, 250 hurt, 88 missing. After a powerful 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit off the coast of Taiwan yesterday. Correspondent Janice Freyer is on the scene.
Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen is on the scene. She's overseeing military personnel as well as the rescue crews. There are tens of thousands of people who don't have water. Roads are broken. Highways and bridges are closed.
The quake toppled buildings in the eastern city of Hualien, a city of 110,000. The clock ticking toward another possible government shutdown.
The only people that have caused a shutdown are the Democrats who have repeatedly held the government hostage over their own politics.
In a briefing yesterday, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the burden is on congressional Democrats. Rocket maker SpaceX pleased with the performance of its Falcon Heavy rocket, which launched Tuesday from Cape Canaveral in Florida, carrying a test payload of a Tesla Roadster into space. Former Pope Benedict says his life is ending. The 90-year-old Benedict says in a letter published today that he's on a pilgrimage toward his home. The ex-pope thanking readers who expressed good wishes as he approaches the 5th anniversary of his resignation due to poor health. More snow blowing through the Chicago area. That's prompting airlines to cancel more than 100 flights at the city's 2 airports. Plows on the roads. And travel times are a mess. We'll get the very latest with Jim Talamonte in just a moment. Another West Suburban school is closed because of a flu outbreak. Holy Angels School in Aurora canceling classes because of the flu. Many other schools in the area delaying or outright canceling classes because of the heavy snow overnight. Chicago police are investigating the death of Temptations singer Dennis Edwards. The Alabama native died in Chicago last week at the age of 74. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports a protective services investigator is filing a protective order claiming that Edwards' wife abused him in the weeks before his death. Chicago sports last night, Flames over the Blackhawks, 3-2. College hoops, Northwestern beat Michigan 61-52. In the MAC, Northern Illinois fell to Toledo 82-77. Tonight, DePaul taking on Creighton at home. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains the left's view on immigration.
Leftism is not interested in borders. Leftism, since Karl Marx, it has never deviated from this belief. National states are an anachronism. The nation state is irrelevant.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR?
The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.49% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/news. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good to excellent credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/news. That's lightstream.com/news. Lightstream.com/news.
Subject to credit approval. Rates include 0.5% autopay discount available only when you select autopay prior to loan funding. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for important information about limits on Lightstream loans.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. F.J. Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is 6:36 and a check of the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Mike, as you mentioned, it's taking longer to get from here to there everywhere in the Chicago area this morning. We see delays on the Eden Spur from Waukegan Road to the Edens. Then it's about 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose outbound 24, but these numbers can rise and fall quickly because in some places it's snowing and it's taking a lot longer. The Kennedy, now 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 16 on the Express. Outbound 45 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower now 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 52. Stevenson, an hour and a half, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, about an hour from the Tri-State. Outbound 58 minutes to 355. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 137 to Everett. There's a northbound crash there. Northbound delays from 95th to the Mile-Long Bridge, the Reagan Tollway to pass the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway slow and snowy in both directions. On the Reagan Tollway, it's gummed up 31 to 59 at Midwest Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. I-80 and 8094 have delays. Traffic service of Audible. Stay motivated, informed, and entertained. The power of audiobooks. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Go to audible.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A flurry this early morning, otherwise frigid throughout the day. Clouds will break by the late afternoon and a high near 20. Partly cloudy overnight, a low 5 above. Currently 14 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So after his sit-down with Laura Ingraham, Carter Page sat down with Clinton Foundation Donor Zero yesterday on Good Morning America. And some of it was a restatement of his discussion with Laura Ingraham, but this in particular was interesting. On Carter Page, this is the subject of the FISA warrant. That is the subject of the Nunez memo, and then ultimately the competing memo that apparently will be forthcoming for public scrutiny. Carter Page, the secret Russian agent man, or at least the FBI had some reason to believe, even though he had previously cooperated with and helped the FBI identify Russian spies in America, served America's interests effectively. Well, what was the nature of Carter Page's communications with President Trump? That seems to be an important question in the context of the Russian collusion narrative. And here's that exchange.
But you've been under surveillance from the court since October 2016. Since that time, have you ever spoken to Donald Trump?
I never spoke with him since. I never spoke with him any time in my life.
You've never spoken to Donald Trump in your life?
Nope.
No email, no text, nothing like that?
Never.
I mean, so look, that doesn't end the Russian collusion investigation, nor should it. It doesn't absolve Carter Page of bad acts necessarily, although, he hasn't been charged with anything, and they had extended surveillance on him. So it's not dispositive of anything other than the notion that Carter Page is a connection to Donald Trump, is a connection to Russia in this collusion story, this fantasy, this Richard Condon novel that people like John Haleman keep spinning about if you take this position on this issue, the release of a memo, for example, you're on Team Trump or you're on Team Nunez, which means you're on Team Trump, which means you're on Team Russia. I mean, the restraint here is generally being exhibited by Republicans, even though they're the ones under assault, generally speaking. And it's the logic is so tortured because the evidence is so flimsy, I would suggest. And to the surveillance of Carter Page and the basis on which that warrant to surveil him was obtained, Molly Hemingway from The Federalist had this to say on the Laura Ingraham Show panel discussion they had on it.
And this is foundational to our understanding of what it means to be American, that the federal government cannot deprive you of life, liberty, property. They can't arrest you or spy on you without a really good reason. And if the civil rights and civil liberties of Carter Page can be violated, they can be violated for anyone.
And Byron York followed up on her point with salient one of his own.
We should point out that the warrant, it's often pointed out that, well, they didn't put the warrant on him until after he left the campaign. But that not only gets his phone calls going forward, it gets all of his email going backward, back when he was in the campaign. Plus, it allows the FBI to break into his home, search it, and plant electronics when he is not there.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend and former United States Attorney General and former counselor to the president, now the dean of the Belmont University School of Law in my soon-to-be home state of Tennessee with Brad Thor and Art Laffer and everybody else that's moving to Tennessee. He is, also, by the way, want to mention the book, The True Faith and Allegiance. True Faith and Allegiance is Alberto Gonzalez's new book. General Gonzalez, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning. This is from sunny Tennessee, nice and warm compared to Chicago. Glad to be in Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Lower
rubbing it
property
in.
taxes must be nice.
Just no income tax. Just rubbing it in.
Oh, that's right.
Rubbing it in. General Gonzalez, Attorney General Sessions said in an interview with the Washington Examiner that the FBI needs to have a fresh start. He said and it was in his letter to the president in Comey's removals. I used the words fresh start, and the FBI director is Chris Wray, very talented, smart, capable leader. I think it will give them an opportunity to go straight to the American people and say, we are going to win your confidence. How do you react to Sessions' view of the change that was made at the FBI and perhaps the case that needs to be made now by the FBI to the American people to retain its legitimacy?
You know, I don't know whether or not the FBI has lost legitimacy in the eyes of the American people, quite frankly. Obviously, there's a swirl in the news about what may have happened with respect to the Carter Page FISA application. And let me just remind everyone, we don't know what we don't know. There's a lot about that application that we may be more fully informed by the Democratic memo, but even after we get that, there's still going to be information that was possibly part of the application that we just don't know. And so I would just urge your listeners to let's just wait. Let's just get more information about what happened here. And if someone did something in connection with that application, if they withheld information that a FISA court judge probably should have known, then there should be accountability. There's no question about that. But we still don't know what happened. And again, I have a great deal of confidence still in Bob Mueller. and in the Mueller investigation. And even if there were things that should not have happened with the Carter Page application, I still see no connection to the Mueller investigation. And I just would urge people to let things play out a little bit longer and just see what actually try to find out what actually happened.
In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week, a colleague of yours, former U.S. Attorney General himself, Mike Mukasey, Judge Mukasey, said, "What to do next? I believe at a minimum the public should get access to a carefully redacted copy of the FISA application and renewals so we can see whether officials behaved unlawfully by misleading a court. And Mr. Mueller's mandate should be defined in a way that conforms with the legal standard of his office. Both would go a long way toward assuring that we do more than talk about a government of laws." What do you think about those recommendations?
I think with respect to the redaction of the FISA application, I think in order to protect the national security of our country, we're probably going to have a document that is so heavily redacted. I'm not sure it will be very beneficial. The other thing that I worry about, every time we release information with respect to a FISA application, it weakens our arguments in court challenges around the country of people who want to have access to FISA applications. The way that the FISA process is set up, accountability to the American people about the work of the Department of Justice is through the oversight of the Congress. Now, in this particular case, apparently Congress has been asking for information for a year, and for whatever reason, the Congress is saying the FBI has refused to turn over information. And I think I'd like to know why that is the case, if in fact it is true. One reason could be that the FBI is concerned that by turning over information that the Congress has asked for, it's going to jeopardize an ongoing investigation. That may be a legitimate reason, at least delay turning over information. But again, the way this system is supposed to work is that Congress provides vigorous oversight of the FISA process, but to completely turn over information that law enforcement and the intelligence community are both saying could hurt our national security, in my judgment, makes it more difficult to be successful in the courts when challenged to release that information publicly. So that's what I do have a little bit of concerns about that.
So, yeah, President Trump, I mean, he released the memo, and that put him at odds with the FBI director, Chris Wray, who did not want the memo released. Now the Democratic version is on his desk since he did it for the Republicans. Should President Trump release the Democratic memo? He has 4 days to do so.
I think as a matter of fairness, there's a narrative out there about this FISA application, and from my perspective, at most it only tells half the story. So I would people keep talking about many Republicans were talking about transparency. Well, this is all part of transparency, I guess. So let's release it. It may be heavily redacted, and so again, we're not going to have the complete picture because we don't have the FISA application and the information related to the application, and we shouldn't, quite frankly, again, because I think it hurts our national security. As I was saying earlier, just a few minutes ago, oversight is the way that our Congress intended through the FISA process to maintain the confidence of the American people in the work of the Department of Justice in connection with FISA applications.
As someone who obviously worked closely with the FBI as Attorney General of the United States, has your view of some of the senior leadership of the FBI under Jim Comey, Andy McCabe, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page, has it changed as more information about their conduct has become public? I mean, we've talked to James Fitzgerald, the former FBI profiler who broke the Unabomber case. You heard from Chris Swecker, a 24-year agent on Fox yesterday. People saying, look, there was a cabal at the top of the FBI that was politicized under James Comey. This is not about the 35,000 rank-and-file agents who do their job and take bad guys off the streets and protect this country. But under Comey, at the leadership level, as distinguished from Free and Mueller in the case of Special Agent Swecker, it was different. It was politicized.
I have heard from various rank-and-file members that there is great anger about some of the actions of the leadership, beginning with Jim Comey, because what it's done is put the entire organization, all 30,000 plus individuals, in the crosshairs. And all of a sudden, the FBI is under attack. It's under siege because of these decisions, pronouncement made by the senior leadership, actions. And I am concerned about it. There's no question about it. And but I do worry about one thing, and that is when you have continued attacks about an organization, even if you're targeting the senior leadership, it is demoralizing to the rank and file. Mm-hmm. It really is. And so I think decisions need to be made either if you're unhappy with the leadership of an organization, as President of the United States, you have the authority to remove them. And I think it hurts the FBI to have the President of the United States continue to question the integrity, the actions of the leadership. Again, he's the president, but take action and remove them, because continued criticism is demoralizing to the rank and file. We need to get past this, and we need to let the people, the rank and file, do their job as they've done their job from the very beginning of the organization to protect the American people.
Same question with respect to the former agency you headed, the Department of Justice, with some of the revelations about the decisions that Rod Rosenstein has made, as well as the apparent conflict of interest that number 3 at Justice Bruce Orr had with his wife working for Fusion GPS.
Well, again, I think that's even a situation where there is greater accountability for the president, because these are political appointees. They serve at the pleasure of the president, and if the president is unhappy about their service, then he needs to make a change, quite frankly. And one thing that's a lesson that I learned from my old boss, George W. Bush, is that it all begins at the top. Everyone takes their cue from the leadership at the top, how they behave, how they respond in a crisis. And so if we've got the wrong kind of leadership at the Department of Justice, then we need to make a change, quite frankly. But as I said, I think the continued public criticism, the public doubting about the leadership, I think is demoralizing everybody in that organization.
He is Alberto Gonzales, former United States Attorney General, Counselor to the President, now the Dean of Belmont University School of Law.
The Bruins.
Yeah, that's correct. Very good.
Thank you.
And the author of the book, True Faith and Allegiance. General Gonzales, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peterson for Lou Dobbs. President Trump says the government can shut down tomorrow. Apple may refund the cost of replacement batteries for older iPhones. Those stories next.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right. $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.myfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
As tomorrow's deadline to avert a government shutdown nears, President Trump has weighed in, saying if Democrats in Congress don't fund his border wall, the government can shut down. The president attacking what he calls the stupidity of current immigration laws, which allow MS-13 gangs into our nation, was chided by alleged Republican Barbara Comstock of Virginia. Apple says it's considering refunding costs of replacement batteries for customers owning older iPhones. No details released yet, but the refund was mentioned in a letter to South Dakota Senator John Thune. Publix Supermarkets, the largest chain in the Southeast, has changed its employee prescription plan to cover a drug that helps prevent HIV infections. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, as flu season approaches, and actually it's here, you know how to protect yourself against colds and viruses, but do you know how to protect your computer network? Ransomware, viruses, hacks, intrusions, it can stop your company's computer network in an instant. Are you safe and protected? Can your data be restored easily? That weighs heavily on the minds of many of us. If not, you need to make an appointment with Turnkey IT today. Turnkey IT provides frontline security for your network and its data. So if there is an email attachment opened in error or a network intruder, Turnkey IT immediately knows and remedies the situation. They'll arm your network with cutting-edge antivirus, disaster recovery, and proactive monitoring software systems to stop those virus outbreaks before they have a chance to spread. Over the phone or in person, Turnkey IT is your network safeguard against this season's worst bugs. See what a dose of Turnkey's proactive support can do for you. It's easy. Just visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year. It's time to do the things you've been putting off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. I personally recommend visiting my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels tested. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, their physicians exclusively diagnose and treat men with low T. If you do have low T, it can make you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain, and cause you to lose muscle mass. If this is something you've been experiencing, you should get your testosterone levels checked. Guys, take the first step this new year. Contact my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number again, 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 now or go to lowtcenter.com.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs. Call now to receive 35% off your first Balance of Nature order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, got a bunch of calls in response to our interview with former Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. Let's take Jimmy on the inbound Edens. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, man, how you doing? So Rumpelstiltskin Gonzalez comes and says these people serve it at the president's pleasure. Can you imagine if he got rid of one person in the Justice or the FBI, even maybe say, not to mention the high people, but maybe even who deserve to go or to be questioned because it's affecting morale and these people are so sensitive. But say he got rid of a cleaning person at night that happens to be Spanish, then he'd be obstruction of justice and he hates immigrants too. I don't know where Gonzalez is coming from. It's ridiculous. What's he been listening to?
Thanks for the call, Jimmy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Got a lot of action in the governor's primaries, both parties. We'll talk about it at 7:07.
And later, how French fries are good if you're follically challenged. Okay, Mike Scott? Oh, don't shake your head at me, your bald head. No. Yes, here now is Mike Scott.
Thank you.
We love you, Mike.
I know you do. Aurora Catholic School closed because of a flu outbreak. A bill to boost the tobacco age is advancing, and the Flames outlast the Blackhawks. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
6 more weeks or 2 years? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the question. The day after the House approved a bill funding the government through March 23rd before tomorrow's deadline, senators are working on a much longer spending plan. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, a deal that would raise spending caps for 2 years could come after the Senate passes a short-term budget fix. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says they're making real progress on the long-term agreement.
That would increase the caps for both military and middle-class priorities on the domestic side.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will start debating immigration after the government is funded.
On those rare occasions when we have these kind of open debates, whoever gets to 60 wins.
At this point, it seems Democrats have no plan to try to shut down the government over immigration. Dave.
Now, Rachel, President Trump, who continues to push for his wall and immigration reform, is warning it's worth shutting the government down.
Without borders, we don't have a country. So would I shut it down over this issue? Yes.
Now, he wants wall funding, an end to the visa lottery, and chain migration changes in exchange for any deal to allow a path to citizenship for nearly 2 million immigrants brought here illegally as kids. The White House still reviewing for release the Democratic rebuttal to the Republican memo alleging an abuse of government surveillance.
Now, this is Senators Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham release a less redacted version of their previous criminal referral of British spy Christopher Steele to the Department of Justice, giving us more information about the FBI's reliance on Steele's dossier to get that FISA warrant.
Fox's Griff Jenkins says those Republican senators contend Steele either lied to the FBI or the classified documents contain materially false statements. Democrats claim the GOP is trying to undermine the Russia investigation. Before Vice President Pence goes to South Korea for the Olympics this week, where North Korea will participate, he said in Japan the U.S. is preparing the harshest sanctions yet.
And we will continue to isolate North Korea until it abandons its nuclear and ballistic missile program once and for all.
Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Snow showers in Chicago, 16 degrees. 7:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. More snow blowing through Chicago overnight, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, prompting Chicago Airlines to cancel flights and IDOT to roll out the plows early this morning. It's impacting your travel times. Things are almost at a standstill on some of the area expressways and toll roads, and Jim Talamonte has the preview coming up of how your morning commute will go. And just a reminder, the long-term forecast has 5 to 9 inches of snow Thursday night into Friday morning. Another West Suburban school is closed because of the flu. Holy Angels School in Aurora canceling classes the rest of the week. We're also hearing the school will be cleaned and disinfected. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be in Chicago today. The politician speaking this afternoon at the University of Chicago's Mandel Hall. He's expected to discuss the importance of public service. Democratic candidate for governor J.B. Pritzker in more hot water and says because of that he wants the public to hear all of the wiretap recordings of him and disgraced ex-governor Rod Blagojevich. AM 560's David Stewart with more.
Standing with black elected officials, J.B. Pritzker apologized for racially insensitive comments captured in one FBI wiretap of him and Blagojevich. This and other recordings of the two men are being used in campaign commercials for Governor Rauner. Pritzker told reporters all of the recordings should be released.
You all should call for it. The people of Illinois should call for it because there's clearly a lot of gamesmanship that's going on by somebody who's advocating for Governor Rauner.
Pritzker couldn't say if there are other embarrassing conversations recorded. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
The plan to raise Illinois' smoking age to 21 moves forward at the Illinois Capitol. Critics, including many Illinois business groups, are worried about a $200 fine that's included in the plan for anyone caught selling cigarettes to those under 21. Flames beat the Blackhawks 3-2. College hoops last night, Northwestern, an NCAA tournament burnishing win. They beat Michigan 61-52. Notre Dame ends a 7-game losing skid, beating Boston College. In the MAC, our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Toledo 82-77. The news, a service of Accountemps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis and fast. Call today. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
The great General George S. Patton once said, "It is better to fight for something than to live for nothing." Now there is timeless advice for everybody and a reminder of the danger of complacency.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179 or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Michael. It's pretty heavy and snowy throughout most of the area. The southbound tri-state is jammed. 137 to Everett. There's a northbound crash. Northbound delays from Southwest Highway to past Archer, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to past North Avenue. Adams Tollway gummed up 25 to 53, and Elmhurst Road to Kennedy. Reagan Tollway delays Randall to 59 and Highland of the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial out into the Reagan Tollway, and it's heavy approaching 290 as well. Eden's 42 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 27. Kennedy 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown 25 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 32 minutes to Montrose, but an hour and 3 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes, 390 to downtown, 55 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 58 minutes to 390. The Stevenson, an hour and 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's an hour and 6 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound an hour and 2 minutes to 355. Ryan, 45 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 40 minutes, I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford, 55. Eastbound I-80, bottled up Larkin to Briggs. Traffic answers when you need them most. Are some rail delays as well, especially on Metra. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A flurry for the morning, otherwise a frigid day with clouds breaking for some sun, high 20. Partly cloudy and bitterly cold tonight with a low 3. Mostly cloudy tomorrow with a little snow in the afternoon with little or no accumulation, high 20 and a low 16. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
14 at O'Hare, 17 along Chicago's lakefront, and big delays for elementary, middle, and high schools in northwest Indiana. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And J.B. Pritzker is finding out that in the 21st century, Democrat Party, it's not like it used to be. You can't just buy people and expect them to stay bought. Not anymore. And so those Blagojevich recordings that continue to be parceled out continue to present challenges for his campaign. He and Rod Blagojevich talking about more conversation, talking about who should fill the vacancy left by Barack Obama per his ascendancy to the White House. And, of course, they're talking in very specific ways about constituencies that need to be served, like it needs to be an African-American, and going back and forth as to which African-American politician or politico should be appointed to that seat.
Right, and there was talk of Emil Jones, the state senate, and to make him into a U.S. senator, and Pritzker didn't like that.
I mean, he's just, I don't know how to say it exactly, but Emil's a little more crass. Right.
And Emil Jones is saying that J.B. Pritzker can shove it up his crass.
Very good. Well, Emil Jones received a phone call yesterday from Pritzker apologizing, and he wasn't taking it.
I don't want him to come to me and apologize to me. He insulted my whole community. Right.
Do you believe he's a racist?
He said so. I didn't. He said so. I didn't. That's the other side of his face.
Ooh, so it has the African-American community divided because Jesse White, who was also mentioned during the conversations to replace Barack Obama for that U.S. Senate seat, is supporting Pritzker. He accepted his phone call on Tuesday, and he was with him at the press conference yesterday and said, it's okay.
Well, in addition to that, I mean, don't forget Pritzker's running mate is a state rep named Juliana Stratton, who was endorsed by no less than Barack Obama last cycle. And she criticized the comments she heard, but of course she's standing by him, as are most of his previous supporters, even though they're suggesting that the language was insensitive, untoward, inappropriate.
Well, Ninth Ward Alderman Anthony Beale said this is a slap in our face, taking our community for granted and playing our community against each other.
Yeah, well, with all due respect, what have Democratic black politicians in this city and state done for the last half century? I'm sorry?
Radio silence.
I mean, the highest black unemployment of any major city in the country is Chicago. How's CPS doing in turning out children that are prepared for post-secondary schooling in the workforce? Right? I mean, the whole kind of, Pritzker said some things that are said routinely in analyzing politics. And the race identity nature of that analysis, because politics in Chicago is racialized. I wish it wasn't, but it is. I'm just describing reality. I'm not endorsing it. And so now this is an opportunity for everybody to virtue signal and everybody to say what the media wants them to say to fuel the story. And so, craven politicians take advantage of it. I'm not impressed. I'm really not.
Pritzker apologized.
Of course he did.
On that call, I was not my best self. I can be better. I have been better. And I can do better. And I've tried to live up to the values that my parents have taught me.
And I'm hungry. And then he did have a staffer. Spalding had a staffer, Kina Collins is her name. She tweeted out notice of her resignation. I will not stand by a candidate who feels that way about black folks. Character is not what you do when the whole world is watching. I think we can continue to contribute. I think we can continue to contribute to the problematic fabric of politics, especially Illinois, or we can take a stand. I stand with the people. I withdraw my support and endorsement of him as governor.
Bishop,
Yeah, I mean, so,
Well, Bishop Larry Trotter has uninvited him to speak at the Sweet Holy Spirit Church.
Uh-huh. Well, he's an influential pastor.
I'm not African American. I don't know if it was offensive. It was I had never heard talk like that before because I'm not in the political world.
Are you not allowed to comment on whether something is, whether you're offended by something if it's directed at somebody of a different race? What do you mean? I don't know if it was offensive. I'm not African American. What does that mean?
Well, I'm not African American, so that conversation that I was having with Blago, I can't decide whether or not it's offensive because I'm not black. Because it offended some African Americans because it's horse trading and it's
right.
But it's life.
You believe these politicians? You believe these politicians taking advantage of this opportunity? You think that they've never heard, much less participated in conversations like this? These are political roundtable discussions about, there's going to be a lot of pressure to fill this particular seat or that particular seat with an African-American candidate, or you've got the African-American community here and the Latino community here. We routinely talk about politics in balkanized racially terms. The left-wing Chicago big government press corps does, and so do all these politicians that are virtue signaling now. This isn't a defense of J.B. Pritzker. I find him reprehensible, just as a general matter, writ large, and I do mean large. But honestly, the moral indignation from these people, all the politicians, white, black, Latino, and otherwise, spare me. These are the people who've destroyed Chicago and destroyed Illinois. These are the people who are responsible for families fleeing the state like it's on fire. But they have the moral high ground on anything. Give me a break. Give me a break. When are we going to grow up as a state, honestly? Speaking of which, how about on the other side of the aisle?
Yeah, on the same day, Bruce Rauner released a new attack ad.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. But I like this story in the Tribune. This is still over the Jeannie Ives ad. Speaking of everybody virtue signaling. It's interesting, though, too. You've got, with J.B. Pritzker's supporters and Democrats, you got a lot of, Emil Jones was specifically singled out and called crass, so of course he had to respond. Jesse White didn't have a problem with it because...
Well, he didn't even know that he was pushing him as a candidate.
Well, he didn't have a problem with what he said because it was complimentary of Jesse White. Jesse White would be a good choice. And Jesse White's still endorsing him. Okay, so a lot of people rallying around Pritzker too, and still saying, "Well, whatever. It's not. Shouldn't have said it, but he's still the best candidate." Blah blah blah. The Jeannie Ives ad. Chicago Tribune talked to Joni Ray Wimmer, who is a trans Oak Park attorney. Who?
What's the name?
Joni Ray Wimmer. A trans Oak Park attorney who showed up on Ives' doorstep 3 years ago to serve her a subpoena. This was referenced in Ives' Q&A at the City Club earlier this week. And Joni Ray Wimmer represented a man named Stephen Bona, who had called and left threatening messages for Jeannie Ives and her family. Stephen Bona ultimately was convicted of a felony for threatening a public official. Joni Ray Wimmer, his trans attorney, represented him in that matter. So just in terms of where you think the thuggery is and who you understand Bruce Rauner to have thrown in with, here's what Joni Ray Wimmer said about Jeannie Ives. I think she's only a short way from the Nazi Party in 1930s Germany. The difference is that instead of going after Jews, she's going after transgender people like me and immigrants and black people. That's the quality of the intellect you get from the thugs of the left. These are the thugs that Bruce Rauner has thrown in with. This is the constituency. Joni Ray Wimmer is who Bruce Rauner has chosen to represent over parents like Jeannie Ives and many others. We talked to Vicki Wilson up at Palatine School District 211 and the parents group up there. So I understand the left's position and the mob mentality that so many people genuflect before, lest they be shamed.
I love the headline of the Tribune. Trans attorney, dangerous Jeannie Ives, hurt my feelings over controversial ad.
Sort of bearing the lead when you're compared to Nazis, I would think, but that's the Tribune.
Yeah.
So just understand, a mom and dad with an elementary school-age daughter, as is the case with Ives, who does not want men in the bathroom or the locker room with their daughter, is the same as Nazis who tortured and slaughtered 6 million Jews. Same thing. That's the
Hitler reference.
That's the position of Joni Ray Wimmer. Who do you want to cast your lot with, Republican Party?
Well, you always lose your argument when you make a Hitler reference.
Well, I understand that she's losing, that Joni Ray Wimmer, who identifies as a trans woman, I understand that she is intellectual, that Joni Ray Wimmer, the self-identified trans woman, is intellectually vacuous. I understand Joni Ray Wimmer is a thug. The question is, what do Republican primary voters understand about the kind of party they want and who they want to represent? Do you want to genuflect, kneel before Joni Ray Wimmer? Or do you want to stand up for what people know to be true and you know to be true? You want to stand up for people who passed a freshman biology class and know the difference between XX and XY and understand the public safety concerns of parents? The child safety concerns of parents, really. Or do you want to throw in with these hysterics because you're afraid to be shamed by the mob like a coward? John in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, I just want to preface this by saying, because I know the connection, don't get too defensive because of constructive criticism, or sometimes if you're getting some constructive criticism, you might be defensive. But I support Jeannie Ives in every way, 100%, and even the 5 platforms that she spoke. But I think the packaging or presentation of those issues in the way that the LGBT person was presented as like a Pauly Shore character, and the other character about the abortion issue looks something like a Porky Pig. I don't know what that is.
That's excuse me, John, hold on. That's a pea hat, so I'm sorry you're not paying attention to the news, but that's a pea hat, and that's what women are wearing, these pro-abortion women are wearing at these marches.
Oh, okay, got it. But just the thing is, I think if it was presented in a different way, you could get the same message across, but you wouldn't be giving the opposition any firepower. I mean, how could you argue with somebody on the other side saying that portraying the characters that way is distasteful in some way?
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. I get the fact that not everybody has the same sensibility. How could you argue? Let me suggest something else. No matter how room temperature you take these positions on these issues, you're going to get the same reaction. Yeah. And let me present an exhibit into evidence for you, John. Pew Research poll, 77% of Democrats with 4-year degrees think sex is not determined at birth.
What is that?
77% of Democrats with college degrees, 4-year degrees, think sex is not determined at birth. Gee, I wonder where they learned that. Perhaps at those 4-year degree granting institutions. So nearly 4 in 5 Democrats, according to a Pew poll, sex is something you choose. XX and XY are just letters. So you want to tell me again about this reasonable discussion we're going to have, the party of science? Junk science. Yeah. Megan in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys, great show. The left is completely unhinged. They cannot debate. They have no substance on any issues, so they continue to throw crap at the wall, and people buy it, and they are ridiculous. The Republicans have no spine, and my closing comment, I love Jeannie Izad because she's telling the truth. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks, Megan. Verlon on the south side.
Now, I'm not necessarily offended as a black man because of what BJ, I'm not going to call him JB, BJ, because it fits, said, because this is the inner workings of the Democrat Party. They play identity politics and they play racial politics to delegate power. See, we as conservatives, we don't do that. It's about concepts of character. The best man or woman will rise to the top, and that's how it should be. And the model that I go by, you're not your color or necessarily your race. You are what you do. Your good works will always show through.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Verlin. Well said. You know, one other thing on just the trans thing. Since Rose McGowan was shouted down right this weekend at some book signing, Rose McGowan. So just in terms of understanding what the cowards within the Republican ranks who are, basically paid for and beholden to Bruce Rauner, so many sold their souls for 30 pieces of silver. It's pathetic. Cowards. That's why we're the super minority party in the state. But you think that we can have a reasonable discussion on this? Rose McGowan, one of Harvey Weinstein's victims, one of the first to come forward and show some courage, hardly a conservative, shouted down by a trans person because she dared to say that somebody who changes their gender identification from a man to a woman has not lived the female experience like I have, or like women who are born women have. That is an unacceptable position to take among the left and among some on the center right who are intimidated into submission to repeat the same blather, the same juvenile, vacuous name-calling of the phobias and the isms of the left. I mean, honestly. You have men using women's rights against women. And we're all supposed to be on the side of the men? Baffling to me. Phil in Itasca.
Good morning, guys. The Hitler reference is offensive to me because my mother grew up in Nazi Germany. That's where she came to this country from. And it diminishes the experience of what happened.
Oh, you think?
In Germany during that time. And we have to start calling people out who use that reference. I've had this discussion with other people, and they're saying, well, I'm not diminishing what happened to your mother. Yes, you are. When you make the Hitler reference,
of course you are.
Diminish not only what just happened to my mom, but what happened to forget my mom. My mom at least survived. She made it to America.
Thanks for the call, Phil. I mean, let's just restate this for a second. The idea we even have to have a conversation, we even have to convey that comparing a mom and dad who don't want their pre-adolescent daughter in the same bathroom or locker room with a man, that's a policy position they're taking. That is a moral position they're taking. Taking that moral position, advocating that public policy position, is the same thing as torturing and murdering 6 million Jews. We have to have that discussion. It shows how far we've fallen.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, Mueller, CPA.com.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Esther, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782 on insurance.
Liberty did what?
I know. It's a lot of money, right?
What'd you say?
Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Visit us online to get a quote.
What?
I said, visit us online to get a quote, and you can save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Are you still talking?
Dance to your own beat this Valentine's Day. Purchase $699 or more at Hellsberg Diamonds and get a free Mega Blast waterproof speaker plus power-up charger with built-in Amazon Alexa, a $339.98 value. Hellsberg quality, style, and selection make it easy to find that perfect something, and this incredible speaker makes it a blast. So hurry into Hellsberg Diamonds and dance out with this unbeatable offer while supplies last.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in February by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, anxiety returns to the markets. We'll get the latest with Stephen.
A little bit of a clawback yesterday. That was nice. After
it changed
punishing
directions
days.
29 times.
And then there's this. So, a FEMA contract to deliver meals to Puerto Rican hurricane victims. 30 million meals paid for, 50,000 delivered.
Yeah. Your government at work.
We'll talk about it with Steve Moore at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
15 degrees. Another government shutdown looming as the Senate considers another short-term spending bill. The bill passed the House, runs for 6 weeks, funds the military for a year, and the president says he is willing to push the envelope when it comes to spending over the issue of immigration.
I will tell you, I would shut it down over this issue. If we don't straighten out our border, we don't have a country. Without borders, we don't have a country.
The president at the White House yesterday. House lawmakers are prohibiting sexual relationships on Capitol Hill. The House unanimously agreeing to rules changes yesterday that prohibit relationships between lawmakers and their employees. It's part of an ongoing response to allegations of sexual misconduct on the Hill. The confirmed death toll has climbed to 6 after a strong earthquake rocked Taiwan's eastern coast. 256 were injured, many severely in the quake. 88 are currently unaccounted for. Casino mogul Steve Wynn stepping down as CEO and chairman of his company, Wynn Resorts. The article that detailed numerous accusations of sexual misconduct against the 76-year-old forced Wynn to step down. Wynn says that avalanche of negative publicity created a situation where he could not continue to lead the company. More snow blowing through the Chicago area, prompting slow travel times and airlines to cancel more than 100 flights at the city's airports this morning. Another West Suburban school closed because of the flu. Holy Angels Catholic School in Aurora canceling classes for the rest of the week after a number of students called in sick. Authorities are calling a fire that killed an elderly couple on Chicago's west side suspicious. Bomb and arson detectives are probing the blaze that broke out early yesterday inside of an apartment building near Wilcox and Pulaski. And a trial is underway for a Cook County judge charged with mortgage fraud. Jessica O'Brien is accused of orchestrating a $1.4 million mortgage fraud scheme involving the purchase of 2 Southside properties over a decade ago. Flames over the Blackhawks 3-2 at the United Center. College hoops last night. Northwestern beat Michigan. Notre Dame ended their losing skid, beating Boston College. In the MAC, our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Toledo. Tonight, DePaul takes on Creighton, and Loyola will host Drake. The news, a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, and MLS number 3030. 7:35. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
Looking to refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Bill's family was cruising until he loaded $50,000 on his credit cards to cover expenses after his income was cut in half. Stressed out and living paycheck to paycheck, Bill called Team Hochberg for a free consultation. We consolidated Bill's credit cards into a 30-year fixed loan, credited all his closing costs, and reduced his payments over $1,400 a month. Bill was stressed out before calling and saved over $16,000 a year after calling Team Hochberg. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck like Bill and would like to see if refinance can lower your monthly payment, call Team Hochberg now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com.
Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
7:38 and a check of the morning roads. Here's a hint. It's a mess in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Pretty much everywhere, Mike. Here's some of the worst of the worst. 8094 westbound. Slow Grant to Calumet Avenue and eastbound I-80. Lark to Richards. Harlem to I-57. 53 is now gummed up. Southbound from around Dundee to Kirchhoff. Northbound Algonquin to Kirchhoff and Dundee to Lake Cook. Eden's 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 36. Kennedy, an hour and 6 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound an hour and 12 minutes. Eisenhower, an hour 25, 390 to downtown, outbound an hour. Stevenson, an hour 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound jammed. 132 to Everett. 190 the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound Cicero to Ogden. From the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. And from the O'Hare Oasis to Each Toll. Also Deerfield to Everett. The other tollways are very heavy. Traffic service of Shell. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Start saving on your very first fill and can continue to save on every fill every day. Download the Fuel Rewards app, join and save 5 cents a gallon today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Morning flurries giving way to frigid midday conditions. Clouds will break in the afternoon and will top out at 20. Partly cloudy and cold overnight, low 5 above. Temperatures basically unchanged. 14 at O'Hare, 17 along the lakefront, 16 at Midway. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, good morning. And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. Tiffany Brown I'm talking about in this instance.
Different kind of brown.
FEMA tapped Tiffany Brown, an Atlanta entrepreneur with no experience in large-scale disaster relief, and at least 5 canceled government contracts in her past. FEMA awarded her a $156 million contract for the job of providing meals for Puerto Rican families in need after the hurricane. Ms. Brown is the sole owner, this is from a New York Times report, the sole owner and employee of her company, Tribute Contracting, LLC. And then after getting awarded the contract, then she tried to figure out how to fulfill it. Hiring a wedding caterer in Atlanta with a staff of 11 to freeze-dry mushrooms and rice, chicken and rice, vegetable and rice foods. Found a nonprofit in Texas that had shipped food aid overseas. By the time 18.5 million meals were due, Ms. Brown had delivered 50,000. And, as if that isn't bad enough.
How could it get any worse?
Yeah, FEMA inspectors discovered a problem.
Oh, there's another problem?
In addition to the, yes, in addition to the 18.45 million meals that are missing, there's another problem. The 50,000 she delivered, the food had been packaged separately from the pouches used to heat them. And, of course, the solicitation required self-heating meals because of things like the lack of power and gas to cook meals in a hurricane-ravaged area. Okay. So, yeah.
It's a logistical nightmare. I mean, but also, too...
what's a logistical nightmare?
Well, first of all...
providing hurricane relief is a logistical challenge.
Right, that's a logistical challenge.
This contracting is a completely man-made disaster.
Well, why in the world did they not do a background check to see that 5 other contracts, government contracts with her, had been canceled?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's in charge?
Yeah.
What in the world is going on?
But you know
she should be in jail. She should give the money back, or she should be thrown in jail.
Her contract was terminated by the FEMA contracting officer.
Yeah, where is she now? Vacationing somewhere in the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Took the money and run?
There's a lot of questions being asked after the fact, but this is the kind of whole. There's the Cajun Army, and I mean, look, the Coast Guard and our relief. The relief functions that some government agencies perform, particularly the military agencies like the Coast Guard, they do, they're great and all that. But I mean, the whole idea of something like this could only happen, really, in the sclerotic leviathan that is the federal government. Even as much as Trump has kind of stemmed the tide of regulation that has been a hallmark of government growth over the last 50 years, even you still have these problems, and you're going to have these problems. It's an endemic to an organization as big as as complicated and as which no bottom line sensitivity and little accountability. I mean, at least as compared to the accountability that bottom line sensitivity brings in the private sector.
I love it, though. FEMA, insists that no Puerto Ricans missed a meal as a result of this.
Well, if that's true, then why did you need 30 million meals and not 50,000? So no matter what FEMA's response is, it prompts another complicated or difficult question for them to answer, doesn't it? Nobody missed a meal. Well, okay, well, by the time 18.5 million meals were due, she had delivered 50,000. So how'd you make up for the 18.45 million that weren't delivered? Nobody missed a meal. Yeah, okay. Keep spinning me. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN senior economist, former Trump advisor. Steve, did you see that FEMA story?
Morning, guys. By the way, I'm off the ledge. I'm no longer jumping out the window. I mean, we got a good day on the stock market yesterday, and it's so funny. I was doing CNN throughout the day because they love the story of the crashing stock market, and then throughout the day they have the stock market ticker on their screen, and at about I'm trying to remember, around 3 or 4 o'clock yesterday, the stock market all of a sudden it's just turned big time, and it went up like 400, 500 points in an hour. And as soon as the stock market went up over 400 points, they took the stock market ticker out and they just stopped talking about it altogether.
Yeah, but isn't Trump making a mistake by continuing to obsess about the Dow Jones and the S&P? Isn't that a mistake?
Well, I've been asked that question so many times in the last few days. No, he's not making a mistake. I mean, the stock market was up 47% since he was elected, and $7.5 trillion had been created. Now, did we get a correction? Sure, we did. And I had been making this case, by the way, that the market probably was running a little bit ahead of itself. Maybe there's a little bit of irrational exuberance, but even with that correction, the stock market's still up 35% since Trump was elected. I mean, that's a gigantic increase. I mean, even with the losses, the market's up $6 trillion. So, Trump's policies have been good. And the point I made throughout the last 3 or 4 days is the fundamental real economy indicators are so strong. I mean, the most amazing thing was that on Friday, the very day that the stock market started to collapse, the earnings reports came out. The Wall Street Journal had a headline that day: 80% of companies had exceeded their earnings expectations. Well, if earnings are higher, you'd expect the stock market to go up, right? Because, as my friend Larry Kudlow says, profits are the mother's milk of the stock market. And yet, even with higher earnings, the stock market fell. And part of that was just this kind of neurosis that people have when people start selling, everybody starts selling. But look, I feel good about the overall direction of the economy. I got a great jobs report on Friday. Wages went up by 3%. And by the way, that was really the spring trigger for the stock market sell-off, was that wages went up because that spooked Wall Street, thinking that that's going to cause inflation. But I'm here to tell you that prosperity and people working and wage increases for workers does not cause inflation. If more people are working, that means you get more output, not less, and prices come down, they don't rise.
But why is there, what yesterday the Dow changed directions 29 times? What was
that was the most amazing day.
I know, and the anxiety's there. I don't know how you survived your day, but obviously you're here with us to discuss it. But what caused it? What if you had to honestly? Was it the job numbers that were released on Friday?
So what caused the fall, on Friday, Monday, was these two reports. The one that indicated we were going to get 5% growth in the first quarter. That was by the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. And the second was the good jobs report with wage increases. By the way, that's what we wanted. That's the reason we did the tax cut. We want workers to be paid more. And so, but there's this Keynesian view out there that's still prevalent on Wall Street, that when workers do better and get a pay raise, somehow that means that there's going to be inflation in the economy. But that's such an old-fashioned, discredited idea. And, as my friend Art Laffer says, if you get more people working, they produce more apples. What happens to the price of apples if you produce more apples? They go down. They don't go up. So I don't believe this idea that prosperity causes inflation. Now, your question about what happened yesterday, I don't have a good answer for. It was the craziest day. I mean, my neck is sore from the whiplashing of the market going up and down. It was an incredible roller coaster. I mean, at one point it was down 600 points, and then rose 1,100 points to being up by 500 points. And why you saw that incredible amount of volatility in one day, I don't know. I think my only response to that could be, there's two things that drive the stock market, right? Fear and greed. And at one point, fear was prevailing, and then people saw opportunities to make money, and greed took over. So, I don't think that the market is underpriced right now. I really don't.
All right, I'm going to cede my response to the iconic Carl Icahn, Steve, talking about exchange-traded funds, and that one day this market is going to implode. Listen to what Icahn had to say.
You have these triple leveraged ETFs that are crazy. I mean, you have these index funds with leveraged ETFs against them, where I don't see any difference between that and 1929. So eventually, this is just a little rumbling, a little fault line. I think this market will bounce back probably. I think, eventually you get through this little panic thing. But one day, this thing is just going to implode because you have too much leverage with too many people buying these things, and Wall Street sells them these products. And I've been saying for a long time, it's extremely dangerous.
Steve?
Well, was that Carl Icahn?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, that guy's an amazing, financial genius, so that makes me nervous.
Yeah, me too. I know.
I'm not an expert on these ETFs and these exotic, instruments that people use for finance, and he may be right. That's out of my league, but I'll say this: when I just look at the fundamentals of the economy right now, what's happening with hiring. What's happening with business investment, what's happening with corporate earnings, what's happening with the low unemployment rate, with business confidence. All of those are headed straight north right now. So, if the stock market is fundamentally driven by the real economy, which I think it maybe not in the very short term, the medium term and long term it is, then I'm still pretty bullish. I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself because I did buy stock yesterday morning. Because I just felt like, there was this paranoia that was going on that was excessive. And look, what's going to happen with the stock market over the next, few weeks or even months, I don't know. But long term, I still think stocks are a good place to be, especially because, the other panic was, oh my gosh, interest rates are going to go up from 2.7% to 2.8%. I mean, the interest rates are so low right now. You're not going to make money buying bonds at a 3% interest rate. Come on, get in the stock market.
Well, as Baron Rothschild famously said, the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets, and you took his advice,
Steve
Moore.
Well, I don't know if there was blood in the street, but we're getting close to that. I mean, people were pretty panicked. I mean, we saw an 1,800 point decline. But, I have to say, this is another example of where the liberals, they say, this was the worst day on Wall Street, and the point drop on Monday was the worst ever, and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, that's because it's off 26,000. I mean, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember 1987, in October, we had a stock market crash. The stock market, in percentage terms, fell by 25% in one day, not 6%. So there was a little bit of overheated rhetoric here.
Imagine that. Steve Moore, he is Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN senior economist, Heritage Foundation economist. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys, have a great week. Take
care. You too. Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Abilify, Wellbutrin, Seroquel, Rexulti. These drugs are commonly prescribed for depression treatment. 2018 can be the year you win the war on depression.
New year, new you.
Drugs for depression can be dangerous, have side effects, and really just mask the problem. TMS therapy treats the source of your depression. Cure or remission is here. HBR centers are proud to bring TMS therapy to Chicagoland and Milwaukee. Millions have been treated, and the results are outstanding.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive.
How does it work? TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate mood centers, causing long-term medication-free relief. It's FDA cleared and covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare. Make the call. Ask questions. Bring an end to your depression. HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Hey, we are heading to Riviera Maya, Mexico this year, and we want you to come along with us. It's our annual Passport to Paradise trip presented by Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling and by Joe Cotton Ford. We'll be staying at the beautiful Secrets Maroma Beach, Riviera Cancun Resort and Spa. It's a gorgeous resort. 9 restaurants, unlimited drinks, 24-hour room service, adults only. It's a beautiful piece of property, and it's situated on Maroma Beach, which is recognized as one of the world's best beaches. So join us. Book your trip, especially, it's cold out there. There's a lot of snow, and there's more snow coming Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So go to 560theanswer.com/passport and book your trip today. Apple Vacations has secured a great price for us for this trip, but it won't last forever. And from now until February 9th, which is a few days away, you can enter to win a trip for 2 by downloading and launching the AM560 mobile app. Just go to 560theanswer.com/mobile to get the mobile app and enter to win this trip. But don't miss your chance to escape the cold and snow of Chicago and spend a week with us in paradise. Go to 560theanswer.com/passport.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
I plan on taking this the rest of my life because until I started taking your stuff, I never took as many fruits and vegetables in a day as I get through you guys. I'm very, very, very satisfied.
My pain and it went away. I swear to you that that's the truth.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The left is so accomplished in sensationalizing and rewriting history because they so doggedly sensationalize and rewrite the present. The Nunez memo is one of the better case studies in recent memory. We have sanctimonious gasbag Jim Comey complaining about weasels and liars, translation, House Republicans, for fulfilling their oversight responsibilities of the FBI, reminding us that there aren't a lot of schools or streets named after Joe McCarthy. That's something Comey will have in common with McCarthy. We have John Heilman, one of MSNBC's Russian collusion bots, suggesting that Paul Ryan is a Russian agent. Because Paul Ryan agrees that the Nunez memo should be released, you see, that puts Ryan on Team Nunez, which puts him on Team Trump, which puts him on Team Russia, which puts John Heilman in a 1959 Richard Condon novel because he's living in a fictional world. We have a DC press corps from a bygone era presently being feted on the silver screen for unearthing government secrets, while their descendants decry the notion of being handed a tidy summary of the same. We have Beltway big government guerrillas who will say and do, or not say and not do, whatever is required to achieve their singular end, the end of Trump.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Trust, trust, trust. Yes, I said trust 3 times because I want to tell you about a recent AM560 charity benefactor and company that built their business and reputation over 3 decades by being trustworthy. I'm talking about Dependable Construction and founder Joe Barron. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, then progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Dependable Construction has grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron.
So call Joe at Dependable Construction today. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. tuckpointchicago.net.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
To show my range, we'll talk about both DACA and a government shutdown, as well as the name of Kylie Jenner's daughter.
And later, President Trump wants a military parade. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
An Aurora Catholic school closing because of the flu. Chicago police officer accused of sexually assaulting a suspect. Flames outlast the Blackhawks. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
The commander-in-chief wants to show off his military might. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump calling for a grand parade in Washington. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
At President Trump's urging, the Pentagon is looking at dates for a possible military parade in Washington that could take place in November. The president was impressed by the military parade he witnessed in Paris to celebrate Bastille Day last July, which the president attended as a guest of French President Emmanuel Macron. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders says the president asked the Department of Defense to explore a celebration at which all Americans can show their appreciation for the military. Dave?
John, the White House still reviewing for release the rebuttal Democrats say is vital to counter a Republican memo they say is misleading, alleging the FBI used the anti-Trump dossier to spy on an ex-campaign aide. GOP Congressman Trey Gowdy thinks Democrats filled their memo with classified info that must be X'd out.
Therefore, it creates this belief that there's something being hidden from the American people.
Government funding runs out tomorrow. The House has passed a 6-week spending bill, but senators are working on a 2-year plan. Republican leader Mitch McConnell.
I'm optimistic that very soon we'll be able to reach an agreement.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is also hopeful it would increase military and domestic spending. And it would tee up the debate over immigration. On that issue, President Trump says,
I'd love to see a shutdown if we don't get this stuff taken care of.
He's demanding border wall funding and immigration reforms in exchange for a path to citizenship for nearly 2 million immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as kids. They're still searching for dozens of people missing in Taiwan the day after an earthquake that killed 6 others. Some buildings collapsed, others are dangerously leaning. What's it going to be like today on Wall Street? Stock futures are falling, suggesting some selling before the opening bell this hour. Now, the morning after a wild trading swings that were way down, then way up, the Dow ended rising 567 after Monday's biggest point drop ever. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Outside, we have snow showers and clouds, 16 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. More snow blowing through the Chicago area this morning. It's gummed up to works on the roads and at the city's 2 airports. Another West Suburban school is closed because of a flu outbreak. Holy Angels School in Aurora canceling classes the rest of this week after a number of students called in sick. The Democratic frontrunner in the race for Illinois governor says he regrets some of the things that he said to former Governor Rod Blagojevich and regrets some of the things he didn't say. J.B. Pritzker yesterday apologized for a 2008 conversation where he talked about race politics and the process to fill an Illinois U.S. Senate seat once filled by then President-elect Barack Obama. Authorities are calling a fire that killed an elderly couple on Chicago's west side suspicious. Bomb and arson detectives are combing through the wreckage of a home. The fire burned through an apartment near Wilcox and Pulaski. Fire crews found the bodies of Eldonia and Lewis White on the second floor. Chicago police are investigating allegations of sexual assault against a local officer. The department says that officer on the south side accused of assaulting a suspect he was guarding at a hospital. The incident reported to police Sunday night. No charges have been filed, but the accused officer has been stripped of police powers. Flames beat the Blackhawks 3-2 at the UC last night. College hoops, Northwestern beat Michigan 61-52. In the MAC, our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Toledo 82-77. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices on the organizational solutions your business needs to clear the clutter and focus on the job at hand this year, like banker's boxes, file folders, and storage bins. Less mess equals success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, It's Pro Time. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures are modestly lower after the major averages returned to positive territory yesterday. Health insurance company Humana's quarter was stronger than expected. Humana says it plans to use tax benefits from the new law to invest in employees and the communities of its members. Hasbro's business was weaker than expected, even though its quarter included the holiday season. Sales of its games and Star Wars-based toys were disappointing. Hasbro lost money in the recent quarter, though without its one-time expense for the new tax law, it made money. Michael Kors' quarter was stronger than predicted. It owned luxury shoe brand Jimmy Choo for 2 months in the period. Though sales at existing Michael Kors MK retail stores declined, its business was not as weak as forecast. The Dow was up 567 yesterday. NASDAQ gained 148 and the S&P was up 46. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Our nation is deeply divided. Gone are the days when civil discourse bridged the gap between the two sides. If we'll ever find common ground, we must get beyond the talking points. AM 560, The Answer, is bringing together two of America's sharpest political minds from opposite sides of the aisle. To do just that, it's Beyond the Talking Points with Dan Proft and Donna Brazil on Thursday, March 22nd. Proft and Brazil will go head-to-head, tackling the big issues facing our nation. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/beyond.
When the weather is chilly and cold, it's a great time to get out for some indoor fun for everyone. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show is this month, February 15th through the 17th, now at the Mega Center at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Coins and currency are full of history. Coins and currency are fun to look at. Coins and currency can be great investments and a great hobby, too. See one of the largest coin shows in the nation. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars. U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. This is a show for the whole family. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show is this month, February 15th through the 17th, now at the new location, the Mega Center at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Admission and parking is free with your photo ID. Get more information at chicagocoinshow.com. chicagocoinshow.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It is 8:07, and let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Slow going and snowy pretty much everywhere. There are about 46 canceled flights at Midway this morning, just 26 at O'Hare for now. Edens runs 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 45. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Austin. It's an hour and 15 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 45 minutes from Montrose, 50 in the Express. Outbound an hour to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 25 minutes, 390 to downtown, an hour from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 56 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford 50. Southbound Tri-State delays. 132 to the Lake Forest Oasis and 190 to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound, Southwest Highway to Ogden. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and from the O'Hare Oasis to Toohey Toll. Adams Tollway, really messy. 31 to Roselle and Lee to Kennedy. Reagan Tollway, Randall to 355 and 22nd to the Eisenhower.
Veterans Memorial, 127th Roosevelt, North Avenue 290, 53, especially heavy southbound Ranch Kirchhoff, and slow on 8094 westbound King Drive all the way to Calumet Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A frigid day with some breaks of sun, high 20, partly cloudy night, low 3, wind chill values of 0 to 10 below 0 throughout the night and into the morning tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a little snow in the afternoon, high tomorrow 20, 2 to 4 inches of snow at night, low 16. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
14 at O'Hare, 16 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Now, I personally am not much of one for a parade.
I can't imagine. I could see you in a parade, similar to how Hillary Clinton approached the parade with a rope around her.
No,
So
I like talking to people. I have no problem with that. That's not the issue. The issue, I find parades rather pedantic, and so when I was a candidate for office, I didn't go to any parades.
Really?
And I don't go to any parades.
Were you afraid you're going to get hit by candy?
No, I was not afraid of injury. I just find it to be sort of a waste of time. I mean, if you have kids and it's fun, the pomp and circumstance, I get it, but
It wasn't fun for me as a kid.
I mean, or I don't know, maybe it's fun for parents taking their kids, but for me, I'm not much of one for a parade. So,
What about the Woogums Parade in Lincoln Park? They always have a Woogums Parade on the 4th of July. That's when everybody in the neighborhood just joins in and they walk down the street. Because I've covered hundreds of parades, and
I know
that's the fun one, the Woogums.
And they also make for ridiculous news stories, which is why nobody watches network affiliate newscasts. And so the question is, should we have a parade to honor the military as President Trump wants? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Of course, this is being received by Trump critics as dictatorial in nature.
Yeah, I mean, imagine tanks rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, we've had ticker tape parades after winning World War I, World War II, but what are we celebrating? I mean, I know President Trump says it's to honor our veterans, but I feel like it's his way of showing off our military might, which I don't want to.
I mean, it kind of depends on the nature of the parade. I mean, we have stealth bombers that fly over ahead of a big sports event. We have F-16s that do the same. We've got the Blue Angels that perform in water and air shows. We've got Veterans Day parades and Memorial Day parades to honor the war dead, to honor all veterans, all military veterans. So if the parade is to honor our military and not to have our military honor the president, which I would have a problem with, then what's the problem?
Well, here's the deal. So he wants it because he was at Bastille Days last year with Macron and with Brigitte, the First Lady of France, and he wants to have a similar parade like that over the 4th of July weekend in Washington, D.C. But it just, the thought and the cost of bringing in all the tanks and all of our, I don't know.
Well, have they suggested what the component parts of the parade are going to be?
Well, he talked to the Pentagon spokesperson, and it's in the infancy stages, but they're reviewing potential dates. So it sounds like this is going to happen. But
yeah, but you don't know the nature of what the aesthetics of it, how it's going to take form.
No.
I mean, and so do you say the 4th of July parade or the myriad parades that we have in Chicago every weekend or every week leading into weekends?
Well, I think it's.
Do you raise the issue of cost of having the fire trucks and the police trucks out?
No, but he said he wants a military parade. So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean showing off our
Well,
Or stealth fighters? What exactly
I
does
guess
that mean?
I guess he said he wants to honor our veterans, right? That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question will be whether or not, if this goes forward, if the way that they choose to do it is an appropriate honor of military men and women, or if it looks more like the military honoring the president. Again, if it's the latter, that's a problem. If it's the former, it doesn't seem like much of a problem, and the excuses that and preemptive criticisms that are being launched are from people who would otherwise never question having fire trucks and police squads out in their local neighborhood parade or their city parades, or never question anything about parades for all the different ethnicities and their Independence Days, and as well as the 4th of July and Veterans Day and Memorial Day. So I mean, it's a little bit of a kind of rush to judgment on what this will look like, isn't it?
Well, President Trump has asked the Department of Defense to explore a celebration at which all Americans can show their appreciation. Yeah, so we don't know logistically.
How is that description different than what we do with Veterans Day parades?
The marching orders were this: I want a parade like the one in France, a military parade. That's what one official
that
has
allows
told
all
me.
Americans to show their appreciation for the military.
Right. I just think if we have a military parade, it should be after we win a war.
So we should cancel all the Veterans Day parades?
No.
Should we cancel the Memorial Day parades? No. So then you don't believe that?
I'm fine, but just not having military gear going there. Because that, if you look at the Bastille Days parade, because I actually watched some of it live because we were over there in Europe at the time, there was a lot of military might and rockets on flatbeds that were going, down the street.
So we should not allow the Golden Knights or the Blue Angels at air and water shows then. Military personnel hardware. Yeah. Oh, Murray on the north side.
Hello.
Hey, Murray, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, Marty, I'm sorry.
Marty, thank
no,
you.
I was just going to say, I'm not one for parades either, but I think Trump is doing this in part to drive the Democrats crazy, because that's what it's going to do. It's just going to drive them up the frickin' wall.
Well,
so I think it's pretty funny that he's doing it.
He just has to continue converting oxygen into carbon dioxide to drive the left crazy. But yes, thanks for the call, Marty. Appreciate it. Paul and Elgin.
Hey, good morning. Go Hawkeyes, Amy. I think we need a little bit of pride in our country these days. It seems like we've lost so much of it, and I don't know. Maybe maybe it's because Trump's a little bit older than everybody else that we've lost a sense of wonder when you see the soldiers walk down. You don't have a lot of people that get to see a lot of that. So when you get your military out in front and you see, hey, you know what, that looks like something I might want to do, or maybe it's a part of a recruitment of making our country a little bit stronger, a little bit. I mean, we've got so many schools now where kids don't want to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. We have people, whether it's in high school, grade school even, where they're disrespecting the national anthem. I mean, we've lost a lot of pride.
Well,
and that's just my viewpoint.
Thanks for the call, Paul.
According to CNN, now this is CNN, but they said the parade is expected to include dozens of intercontinental range Hwasong 15 missiles, which is similar to what North Koreans test fired last November.
I like when you start making specific references to military. I feel like I'm at a Pentagon briefing. Thank you, Secretary Rumsfeld, for those
details. The display
details.
of hundreds of missiles and rockets would be an attempt to scare the HE-double hockey sticks out of the Americans, one of the sources said to CNN.
Well,
but it's CNN.
If it's going to be that sort of thing, then no, if I wouldn't include that. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
If it's a celebration, again, if it's honoring military men and women and the role that the armed services play in maintaining America as a free society and, frankly, fighting for freedom and to free people the world over, which has been the tradition of the U.S. military, then I mean, it's something different. It will stand out, distinct from what would have become pro forma exercises on July 4th, on Memorial Day, on Veterans Day. I'm just open-minded on the topic. But here's the thing with the problem that people have that are Trump critics is they won't look at anything neutrally because they've already concluded that he's an authoritarian in training or authoritarian in wanting. And anything they can get their hands on to bootstrap that argument, to provide evidence to support that bootstrapped argument, they're going to use. And so you're not necessarily having particularly honest conversations with those that are already, it's already baked in that they despise Trump and they think he's a dictator. Ralph in Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. I think there's a couple of different routes we could take. We could either go the serious route, or the fun route.
Mm-hmm.
The serious route, you could haul out the stuff that people don't get to see too often and show our military might. I think when I read the book Command and Control by Eric Schlosser, I was struck by the fact that the Russians used their military parades to make us think that they had more stuff than they really did. Like they recycled the same 10 airplanes, but 10 different flyovers in different formations, so we thought they had 100 of these long-range nuclear bombers rather than 10. I guess they covered up the tail numbers. On the fun part, I think it could be fun because as they go down the street, you could have maybe like a giant Rose Bowl parade, kind of flowery Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un head, and blow them up and throw government contracts and ammo from the guys going by.
Sure, that would be good. You could have Wile E. Coyote with the Acme Corporation dynamite. Yes, okay.
We could have a lot of fun with this one.
All right, thanks, Ralph. Mark in Plainfield.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Not only would I have a military parade, I would do it on August 6th to celebrate the greatest military achievement in world history, the dropping of the atomic bomb.
Okay, thanks for the call, Mark. I would go with Normandy, I think, but Margot in Burr Ridge.
Yeah, I wanted to say to Amy, the reason you don't have to wait for the end of a war to have a parade like that to honor them is because their sacrifices are permanent. You lose a limb, you have shrapnel embedded in your body, something like that. It's a permanent thing that these veterans go through, so we should honor them every day. And I just want to say one other thing about parading the missiles or the planes or whatever. Speak softly, but carry a big stick. That is the way we avoid wars. I guess Russia has figured that out from what Ralph and Rantoul was saying.
Okay.
But anyway, I think it's a great idea. Of course, the Trump haters will hate it.
All right, thanks, Margot, one of the original Rough Riders there with TR. Wow. Yeah. Tom in Deer Park.
I love a parade as much as the next guy, but the notion that Trump is going to be the Grand Marshal seated, waving while this equipment gets paraded by, is right out of something out of Red Square, where you have some big insecure dictator, like Ralph was saying, doing flyovers and things like that. Not that our military isn't powerful, but this speaks to President Bone Spur's insecurity that he would order the military to draw this up.
Well,
that's my comment.
All right, thanks, Tom. I mean, again, if it was like that, Trump at the reviewing stand and the military genuflecting before the president, then that's a problem.
Well, that's what it'd be. I mean, I'm just looking at Bastille Days again, and it's military might flyovers, tanks, and then a lot of military might with their ornate uniforms on, walking in step. It looks very dictatorship.
Is France a dictatorship?
No, it's not. But
what?
The French are snazzy dressers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I understand. Yes. Who were they wearing? Gautier? How did you know? The point is that the optics of it would matter, and there's no question about that. If it is for all the people to honor servicemen and women, good. If it's for the military to honor the president, bad. I don't know why people can't just exercise a little bit of restraint and say, here's what would be appropriate and here's what would be inappropriate. And if the president and the Pentagon are going to do something, hopefully they'll do what's appropriate. And by the way, the president isn't a solo call on this. Don't think that the likes of Jim Mattis won't weigh in on this. So let's just be careful before we start terming people authoritarian based on the details of a parade we don't know.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, French fries can help the follically challenged. But first, here's your forecast. It snowed throughout the evening, so a lot of us woke up to some slick roadways. It will be frigid today. No more snow. A high of 20 tonight, a low of 5. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, very cold. A little snow late in the afternoon. And then on Friday, we could have 8 inches. On Saturday, 6 inches. It's just going to be, we're going to be hit hard with the white stuff come toward the end of this week. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
I mean, Dan, now it's more just heavy traffic than snow. The Edens is 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 45. Kennedy, an hour and 15 minutes. O'Hare to downtown takes longer in the express lanes. Outbound an hour and 2 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 25 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 38 minutes. 355 to the drive. It's 52 minutes outbound. The Ryan, 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays from Foster to North Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State jammed 132 to 60, 190 to the O'Hare Oasis northbound, 115th to Ogden, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, from the O'Hare Oasis to the Adams Tollway. Adams Tollway really heavy this morning, especially 31 to Roselle and Lee onto the Kennedy. The other tollways are heavy too. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
AM 560's Passport to Paradise contest is open to any legal U.S. resident, age 18 or older. To enter, download the AM 560 mobile app and fill out the entry form between January 22nd and February 9th, 2018. One grand prize winner will be randomly chosen on February 12th and will receive a 7-night trip for 2 to Riviera Maya, Mexico, including round-trip airfare and a junior suite at the Secrets Maroma Beach Riviera, Cancun. Approximate retail value $3,334. Visit 560theanswer.com for complete rules.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because of my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The left is so accomplished in sensationalizing and rewriting history because they so doggedly sensationalize and rewrite the present. The Nunez memo is one of the better case studies in recent memory. We have sanctimonious gasbag Jim Comey complaining about weasels and liars, translation House Republicans, for fulfilling their oversight responsibilities of the FBI, reminding us that there aren't a lot of schools or streets named after Joe McCarthy. That's something Comey will have in common with McCarthy. We have John Heilman, one of MSNBC's Russian collusion bots, suggesting that Paul Ryan is a Russian agent. Because Paul Ryan agrees that the Nunez memo should be released, you see, that puts Ryan on Team Nunez, which puts him on Team Trump, which puts him on Team Russia, which puts John Heilman in a 1959 Richard Condon novel because he's living in a fictional world. We have a DC press corps from a bygone era presently being feted on the silver screen for unearthing government secrets, while their descendants decry the notion of being handed a tidy summary of the same. We have Beltway big government guerrillas who will say and do, or not say and not do, whatever is required to achieve their singular end, the end of Trump.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had this crazy thing happen with my eyesight. I went back to get my contact lenses done,
And my optometrist, and I'm 46, he said, "This is really weird, but your eyesight is better." I'm like, I can't believe it, but I think it's these vitamins I'm taking.
I'm a huge believer in the product. I've tried lots of stuff, and this is the only real thing that I've ever, because of all these comparisons with all the other stuff I've had, this is by far the best thing, and consistently.
We're so healthy now on the Balance of Nature. There's no words to say how well it works.
Doing good on it, really. I'm feeling my skin is softer, and I feel good.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560.
The Answer.
I love a parade.
Yeah, we focus on government a lot. We should also talk about institutions that have been forces for good, generally speaking, the world over, like the Catholic Church, and what's happening to the church. This story from Catholic Herald. Bishop Marcelo Sanchez Sorondo, who is a Vatican bishop, said right now those who are best implementing the social doctrine of the church are the Chinese, a communist dictatorship that owns a majority of the means of production in society, that de facto enslaves much of its population, that just relaxed its one-child, ghoulish, gruesome one-child policy. Sorondo said that China was implementing Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si better than many countries and praised it for defending the Paris Climate Accord. It's just so egregious, really a disgrace. I mean, this is the same guy, by the way, this Vatican bishop, who invited Comrade Bernie Sanders to the Vatican to give a talk on the 25th anniversary of Sanctissimus Annus, which was Pope John Paul II's encyclical, a great defense of private property rights, as opposed to the defense of collectivism and command control economies that you're hearing from the papacy in present. It should be a concern because the Catholic Church, again, one of the greater forces for good in the history of the world, and it's going in a very dangerous direction under the leadership of this Pope and his underlings at the Vatican.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, FBI, those two lovers, their latest text messages released. It is a bombshell. We'll begin there with Victor Davis Hanson. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
15 degrees, still some snow showers in the area. Russian cyber spies pursuing sensitive U.S. defense technology apparently tricked key contract workers into exposing their email to theft. That's according to an AP investigation. The hackers went after 87 people working on militarized drones, missiles, stealth fighter jets, and cloud computing platforms. A short-term government spending bill that passed the House is now headed to the Senate. This comes amid growing concerns about another government shutdown. Illinois Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says he's glad some progress is being made.
There are so many issues that we put off. This is the fifth or sixth temporary budget bill that this Republican Congress has generated. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get the job done.
The bill that passed the House would provide a full year of funding for the military and 6 weeks of funding for the rest of the federal government. The White House considering releasing a Democratic memo that challenges some Republican findings on alleged surveillance abuses in the FBI's Russia investigation. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly suggests there could be redactions to that Democrat memo. Former Pope Benedict says his life is ending. The 90-year-old Benedict says in a published letter today he's on a pilgrimage toward his home. The ex-pope thanked readers who expressed good wishes as he approaches the 5th anniversary of his resignation due to poor health. Another West Suburban school closing because of the flu outbreak. Holy Angels School in Aurora canceling classes for the rest of the week. Chicago police are investigating the death of Temptation singer Dennis Edwards. The Alabama native died in Chicago last week at the age of 74. 2 are wounded in suburban Alsip following a shooting. Police investigating after the victims were found shot last night in an apartment building along 131st Street. Flames beat the Blackhawks 3-2 at the UC. College hoops last night. Northwestern beat Michigan. Notre Dame ends a 7-game losing skid, and Northern Illinois fell to Toledo. The news, a service of Staples. Let Staples help you this tax season with everything you need for less. From storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. Right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax ends 2/17/18. TurboTax Basic excluded. Staples, it's pro time. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher reacts to the State of the Union.
Real simple takeaway. If you weren't impressed by the president's speech, not just the delivery, but the message, what was contained, the spirit of the message, the direction of the country, the State of the Union, if you weren't impressed, then it's real simple. Your lack of objectivity blinds you from the truth.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
A bad cold and flu season is upon us. The main difference between them is the flu brings a fever. Be prepared with the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, backed by more than 70 clinical studies.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
8:35, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Tri-State is jammed to the northern suburbs from Washington to 60 Town Line, and then from 190 to the O'Hare Oasis northbound Southwest Highway to Ogden, Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and from the O'Hare Oasis to the Adams Tollway. Eastbound Adams Tollway is bumper to bumper 25 to Barrington Road and Lee to the River Road Toll. Reagan Tollway delays. The Aurora Toll to 355, Veterans Memorial, 555 to the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue to 290. Heavy delays on westbound 8094 from Grant to before Calumet Avenue. Eden's 25 minutes, like Cook to Montrose outbound 40. Kennedy, an hour and 17 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 52 minutes from Montrose, 44 in the express lanes. They're now quicker. Outbound an hour to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 15 minutes, 390 to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Bryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A flurry this early morning, otherwise frigid. Clouds will break this afternoon with a high near 20, giving us partly cloudy skies overnight and a low of 5. 15 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. President Trump said, let's go ahead and shut the government down if we can't secure the border. It makes sense to me. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Hey, you can spark some new ideas to update, renovate, and revitalize your home at the Old House, New House Home Show at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, February 9th through the 11th. And this morning, we're giving away a family 4-pack of admission tickets to the Old House, New House Home Show at Pheasant Run Resort. Caller number 5, a family 4-pack, 312-642-5600, and good luck.
And I think Victor Davis Hanson has a decent shot at being caller number 5 and getting that 4-pack of tickets to go to Pheasant Run. I wonder if he'll fly in from California for that. Yesterday, Carter Page sat down with Clinton Foundation donor Zero on Good Morning America. And among the questions asked, the contacts that Carter Page had with Donald Trump. Give us, any indication of whether or not you had contacts with Donald Trump after notice of surveillance. And here's what Carter Page had to say.
But you've been under surveillance from the court since October 2016. Since that time, have you ever spoken to Donald Trump?
I never spoke with him since. I never spoke with him any time in my life.
You've never spoken to Donald Trump in your life?
Nope.
No email, no text, nothing like that?
Never.
Never communicated with him through traditional means, Amy. But the one thing that they left out,
What?
I believe they were communicating telepathically.
Oh, right.
This does not exonerate Carter Page and Donald Trump from colluding, conspiring to collude with them among themselves, with others, to be on Team Nunez, to be on Team Trump, to be on Team Russia. It's just as easy as that. It's linear.
Yeah.
At least if you listen to people like Adam Schiff talk.
And speaking of communications, I mean, their new text messages were just released between Peter Strzok's and Lisa Page. Apparently, President Barack Obama asked to receive updates as the agency's probe into Hillary Clinton's private email scandal was developed. Peter texted to Lisa, POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. So that's a pretty big bombshell. And also,
totally innocent. You know why it's totally innocent?
Why?
Because it's Barack Obama. The standard's different.
Also, newly discovered text message. Strokes also calls Virginians who voted against then FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe's wife for that state Senate seat ignorant hillbillies.
Yeah, they're a colorful couple, Strzok and Page.
Yeah,
I hope to hear a lot more from them, and now we're going to hear a lot more from Victor Davis Hanson. Victor Davis Hanson, National Review, Hoover Institution. He's got a couple of good pieces. He's got a great piece in American Greatness, AmericanGreatness.com about Devin Nunes. I want to talk to him about. And his new book is The Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. VDH, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So let's start with your column about Devin Nunes before we get to some of these text messages Amy's referring to and whatnot. Devin Nunes is just a dairy farmer. He doesn't understand the complicated ways of big city living in D.C.
Yeah, I mean, that was a put down by an MSNBC commentator, Elise Jordan, and the idea was, why would the Republicans trust their fate on this controversy with a guy who was a dairy farmer? But, you know, I lived 20 miles from Devin Nunes, and anybody who knows a Portuguese dairy farmer knows they're the toughest, most savvy people in the world, with skills that I don't think MSNBC commentators have. But I wrote the article on Monday, and I mean, this was before the hillbilly comment and other stuff that keeps coming out. So there's something really wrong with this elite of ours, whether they call $1,000 rebate crumbs, or the deplorables or redeemables or clingers or Bill Kristol or David Brooks talking about having that illegal, not immigrants, but illegal immigrants are preferable to working class Americans. So it's symptomatic of a larger pathology among our elite that they have some sense of entitlement, but as we saw in the 2016 election, it's not earned. They don't get things right.
But these text messages that were just dropped, I mean, it shows clear bias on behalf of the FBI, don't you think?
I do. I think, I mean, if I wrote a novel or you wrote a novel, because you think that, would you put in that the FBI director met with the president, took confidential notes, and then tried to leak them so that he could get a special prosecutor who would turn out to be one of his best friends? It doesn't make any sense. And then he would end up criticizing the president as a chronic tweeter by chronically tweeting.
Yeah,
it's surreal.
The omnipresence of Jim Comey throughout these revelations and the back and forth between the parties about what should be released and what shouldn't be. Do you find that interesting? It reminds me very much of what Hillary Clinton has done since the 2016 election, which is to try and be omnipresent. There's a real, it seems to me, obvious need that she feels she has to rehabilitate herself after that defeat. And it seems to me Jim Comey is projecting a need to rehabilitate himself after his performance in 2016, too.
Yeah, I think that's what people do psychologically when they blow it, and then they keep reliving it psychologically as if in front of people, as if by somehow reliving it and changing details or mythologies or fantasies, they can alter reality, and they can't. And she's upset because people like Nate Silver and expert pundits said that she had anywhere from 90 to 85% likelihood of winning the election, and she won the popular vote due to California, and she just can't comprehend that anybody would elect Donald Trump and, you know, And the same thing with the never-Trumpers and the Republicans. They still believe that maybe Jeb Bush or maybe, who knows, Marco Rubio would have flipped Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Ohio. And I don't think there's any evidence that was true. So, and they just can't believe that nobody listened to them, and their infinite wisdom was not utilized, and they're sort of orphaned now.
How did you react to what Carter Page had to say over the last couple of days, both with Laura Ingraham and then yesterday, that bite we played between him and Stephanopoulos?
I think he's kind of a tragic figure. I mean, he obviously wanted to be famous and he wanted to have Russian business contacts, but he was actually an FBI informant.
Right.
And he was considered useful. And what happened to him was, for no fault of his own, he volunteered to work on the Trump campaign at a time, unfortunately for him, when the FBI was trying to get dirt on Donald Trump. So they used these FISA 4 times, probably was refused at least once in June of 2016. But they thought, if we can make a case because we know who he is and he's in the dossier, then that's a window that will open up all sorts of conversations with Trump associates maybe. We can use him as a sort of an excuse or pretext. And that's what happened to him. And he was sort of a nice guy that everybody's demonized, but he never really did anything wrong other than to let his ambitions and ego put him in the wrong place at the wrong time.
What are some other top takeaways from the Nunes memo?
Well, the Nunes memo is, I think, what the main thing is that the U.S. government, through the DOJ and the FBI, went to a FISA court and deliberately tried to use a mechanism that is this dossier, which the Clinton campaign paid for. And we don't know whether the FBI actually paid for it, but they did reimburse expenses for it. And then to basically not tell a judge that so they could spy on American citizens. And then what happened with that information is the next memo, but it's pretty likely that people in the Obama administration, Susan Rice, Ben Rhodes, they took that information and they took the name unmasking out and let the name stay, and then they leaked it to the press, all as a part of an insurance policy that maybe Donald Trump would not win the election. That's pretty much what happened. And the difference between Watergate and Iran-Contra is this time around we don't have a bulldog investigative press. They're on the side of suppressing information. They're on the side of the establishment. They're on the side of demonizing whistleblowers, and it's pretty remarkable, given all of their pretensions about being civil libertarian.
Hugh Hewitt, one of our colleagues in sound here in Salem, had a piece yesterday. His damning omission in the Nunes memo that he identified as somebody who reviewed hundreds and hundreds of FISA warrant applications as the final stop between the FBI and the desks of Attorneys General William French as well as Edwin Meese. He said the Bureau not disclosing that the source had been financed by Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, that is a damning omission. That's what he really zeroed in on, is a damning omission, and inconsistent with the charge the FBI has to be fully forthcoming before a FISA judge.
I agree with that. I think that most of the information that came out of that poison tree, because of that falsified or incomplete application, will be damaged or will be irrelevant. So all of these people who confessed or were forced to confess or are facing charges because what they told the FBI was collated by surveillance transcripts, and then they were found inconsistent. Well, if those surveillance transcripts were obtained through illegal or improper means, it's likely that they're either going to reverse their confessions or they're going to sue the government or they're going to be exonerated. So I think that we're going to look at the entire Russian collusion, but maybe even in the so-called, the obstruction of justice charges compromised by this. I don't think we've even started this. Watergate took 1.5 years. Iran-Contra was 2 years. This is the very beginning. It just gets worse each week.
Are you looking forward to the Democratic response, the Schiff memo?
Yeah, if we can see it, because remember their narrative was that the Republican memo was so reckless that it would endanger national security. And of course, when it didn't, and then it said that it was irrelevant. So they wanted it to be both cataclysmic and irrelevant at the same time. But I don't know, what are they going to do? They're supposedly redacting things, that they're using methods and means that should not be. I hope they release it. I hope it's blunt. I hope it's transparent. But I think what they're trying to do is basically release stuff that's classified and hope that the Trump administration or the Republicans will try to redact it. And then they'll say, see, they tampered with it. So I think just release it, let them release it, let it fall in the arena of public opinion and debate, and let's see what happens.
Victor Davis Hanson, you're a historian, and so you know that polarization in American politics is nothing new. Some would argue, I think, I would be one of them, that this doesn't rise to the level of the antagonism between John Adams' Federalists and Thomas Jefferson's Republicans, what we have today. But it is interesting to see how some of these arguments are being bootstrapped to the people who believe that Trump is an authoritarian or an authoritarian in wanting. And this rather remarkable piece in The Atlantic, I don't know if you saw, calls for a boycott of the Republican Party, certainly coming from the left, which is always interesting. Jonathan Rauch and Benjamin Wittes suggest that conservatives should be pre-partisan and pre-political. The rule of law is a threshold value in American politics, and a party that endangers the rule of law disqualifies itself, period. The GOP has done that under President Trump because of his attempt to erode the independence of the justice system, they claim, and his encouragement of a foreign adversary's interference in U.S. electoral processes, whether or not he cooperated. And thus, Trump and the Republicans who support him should be removed because they failed the threshold test to be a legitimate political party and political actors in the American system.
Yeah, I mean, that's just silly partisan politics dressed up with pseudo-rhetoric, because both of them know that the IRS has been compromised, and that was under Barack Obama. Both of them know that the DOJ under Barack Obama monitored and surveilled AP journalists and James Rosen of Fox. Both of them know that there was subversion to deny Bernie Sanders a Democratic nomination. And both of them know that there were scandals in the GSA, the VA, even the Secret Service, EPA under Obama. So if they can cite one thing that this administration has done is unconstitutional, I would agree with them, but they haven't. They keep warning about what Trump might, could, should, might, would do, but then they turn a total blind eye to what was going on in the Obama administration. Remember, one of the last things that Barack Obama did was he took an executive order from the Reagan era, 12333, and he expanded it so that 17 different intelligence organizations for the first time would have full access to FISA court intercepts. And Ms. Farkas said, the DOD official, the point was they wanted to get as much bad information out about Trump as possible before they had to leave office. So whether it's the tarmac with Loretta Lynch or Bill Clinton or James Comey's leaking of confidential notes with the President of the United States, there have been constitutional questions, but they are mostly with Barack Obama. And the authors know that. And I think that it's not going to be very persuasive because it's hypocritical.
He is Victor Davis Hanson, Senior Fellow, historian at the Hoover Institute, the author of the new book, Second World Wars, How the First Global Conflict Was Fought and Won. VDH, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having me.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Being complete layman at the whole home buying thing, we were just hoping we weren't going to get taken through the ringer for. You know, with you guys, we felt like we were a priority instead of just another number. We really did feel like we had your guys' personal touch. We could talk to Barry. I mean, you know, any way that it went. If we didn't get you on the phone, we knew that within 15 minutes we were getting a call or an email back. You guys held us by the hand so that we could finish the race, and you guys definitely got it done for us.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage license C 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year. It's time to do the things you've been putting off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. I personally recommend visiting my friends at Low T Center. That's where I got my levels tested. They make it quick and easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, their physicians exclusively diagnose and treat men with low T. If you do have low T, it can make you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol levels, cause weight gain, and cause you to lose muscle mass. If this is something you've been experiencing, you should get your testosterone levels checked. Guys, take the first step this new year. Contact my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number again, 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 now or go to lowtcenter.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Now that I've got your attention, my name is Jeannie Ives, and I'm the conservative running against Bruce Rauner for governor. I'm an economic liberty, pro-family West Point grad. I've spent the last 5 years battling Chicago Democrats. I didn't think I'd have to spend so much time battling Bruce Rauner. But when Rauner betrayed conservative families, that's exactly what I did. Rauner made Illinois a sanctuary state. I voted against it. Rauner made you pay for abortions in all 9 months of pregnancy. I voted against it, and so did every other Republican legislator. Rauner took money from your schools to bail out the Chicago public schools. I voted against it. National Review has called Rauner the worst Republican governor in the country because he is. Rauner betrayed us. I honor who we are as conservatives. Rauner can't win re-election. He said he's not in charge. With your help, I'll lead the charge.
Paid for by Ives for Illinois.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Esther, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782 on insurance.
Liberty did what?
I know. It's a lot of money, right?
What'd you say?
Liberty Mutual saved me $782.
Visit us online to get a quote.
What?
I said, visit us online to get a quote, and you can save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
Are you still talking?
Dance to your own beat this Valentine's Day. Purchase $699 or more at Helzberg Diamonds and get a free Mega Blast waterproof speaker plus power-up charger with built-in Amazon Alexa, a $339.98 value. Helzberg quality, style, and selection make it easy to find that perfect something, and this incredible speaker makes it a blast. So hurry into Helzberg Diamonds and dance out with this unbeatable offer while supplies last.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was surprised at myself how much energy I had, and I'm doing 2 jobs, running around like a maniac, and I was able to handle it. Really, I'm like, wow, this stuff is really good. So, more than anything else, it just gave me the extra energy and the well-being, feeling of well-being that I don't think I would have without it.
Well, I take it every day, and I feel great. And my wife looks at me and says, how come you never get sick? And I do. It's because I take the fruits and veggies.
I just feel a lot better. My life is turned around. Everything is working for me.
It just helps me feel good. I just think the products are wonderful, and I take them every day. I just like it. It works.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first